I mean, there's dying, then there's dying. Hey, everybody. How you doing? Hope everyone's doing good tonight. We are here talking about strange Furby action, which, in a game of Vaesen, I guess, is just par for the course. We are here tonight with Vaesen, part 3 of our 3-part game, and it's always this bittersweet moment when a cool game that you've very much enjoyed is ending, but at the same time being quite excited to see what's going to happen. On top of that, we are in the middle of a couple of weeks of raising funds for the No Kid Hungry stream team, benefiting No Kid Hungry, which is a wonderful, wonderful charity, and I will talk a little bit more about that in a few moments. First, I would like to introduce my cast because, I need coattails to ride on, and these are the coattails that have come to give me a lift in this particular Vaesen game. I've had a tremendous time playing with all of them, getting to know them. Some of them I knew a bit more than others, and I am super happy to have gotten to know you and to play with you, and be a little sad that we're leaving, but who knows what the future holds? Who knows what the future holds? How you doing, everybody?
Good. So good.
Everyone
Definitely good.
Everyone happening. Cool. Well, let's hear a little bit about what you got going on, who you are, what you do, all that good stuff. And let's start with Stephanie. How you doing, Stephanie?
Good, thanks. I'm Stephanie. I'll be playing Vendela Ekstrom, the occultist. She is having a time. It's getting more stressful, but we're gonna see how she handles it. I can be found in the handle Lavenza in the Live from the Apocalypse Discord and the Guild Superior Discord, as well as under S Brown Writes on Twitter for as long as that is still functional. So thank you for hanging in there and watching us play out this mystery, so I'm excited to see where it goes.
Going straight to hell.
Probably.
Thanks so much.
Priest.
Exactly. Thanks so much for coming back, bringing Vendela back, and it's always a lot of fun to see these characters grow and progress, and I'm super happy that you took the time to come back and play with us, so thank you very much. Next up, we have JD. What's up, JD?
I don't know why I thought I was last, but of course, as always, I am not prepared to introduce myself.
Okay, hold on. Then I shall move on and go to Will and come back to you in a little bit. Hey, Will, how you doing?
No, I'm also not ready. Go back to JD.
All right. Hey, KT, what's up, KT? You're always ready, aren't you?
I'm ready. I do have my snacks. No, go to JD. He's going to be fine.
Everything's fine. I can introduce myself.
All right, go for it, JD.
Hi, I am JD. I am a cast member and storyteller for Live from the Apocalypse. I am not going to list everything I do because it is a ridiculous amount. You can find me... Stop it. Everyone's ganging up on me now, holding up the fingers of as many games as I am in. It's fine. Everything is good. Yes, so if you want to know what I'm doing and where I'll be, just follow me on Twitter and you will see my schedule day to day, and it is usually a little chaotic, but that does not mean I will ever not make time to be back here with Guild Superior and getting to play with you, Bleak, because this has been an absolute delight. So I have been playing Father Victor. I hope to perhaps continue playing Father Victor unless we end with a TPK.
Well, I've always said, if you're going to sacrifice anyone, sacrifice the priest.
That's fair. You know what? That is totally fair.
Totally
Such
fair.
a reasonable thing to say all the time. Such a universal quote.
Yeah, but, it's what we do here. We do what makes sense. Who wants to go then? Will, KT, you want to fight it out?
Yeah, I can.
All right, Will.
Throw
down, Will.
My name is Will. I'm one of the organizers and the storytellers over Live from the Apocalypse normally. And it also abnormally, there's a lot of stuff going on all the time. I play Rudolph Kirk in this game, and he's the hunter, and we both use he, him pronouns. You can find me on social media at a Will M Scream, pretty much everywhere on all platforms. And I can talk about what I have going on because I only have like 2 things happening this week. You can catch me Friday night playing a season of Secrets and Shadows, which is the Regency Monster Arts game that JD runs, and then Saturday morning I will be over at Girls Run These Worlds for the Pen Ultimate episode of School of the Stars, which is the Kids on Brooms game we've been playing for a while. And that's what I got going on.
You cooking. I like it. You guys are always so busy over there. It's great. And you always do it for a good cause. So, always a lot of good stuff. Katie, are you ready finally, or should I just come back to you after the game?
I think honestly, after the game will be best. Thank you very much. No, I'm Katie. I am so happy to be here on our final installment of Vaesen. It's been just such a pleasure and a half. And I can absolutely talk about the other things that I've got going on because it's minimal. Not this Friday, but next Friday, I'll be streaming with LFTA, with JD, and we're doing that Kingdom Come, and it's going to be a time and a half, I'm sure. We keep ending on like terrible things happening to Penny, so I'm super pumped for that to continue to go on as a trend.
No, this is a totally good thing to happen to Penny. I think everything's fine.
I cannot underscore how not fine things are when JD says things are fine. They're not fine.
And JD, he says things are fine a lot. So
I do.
Really does. A lot.
Really, really a lot.
Lies.
Yeah.
And you just need some iron, I hear.
Anyway,
Some
I'll be happy to be
B12.
back in this character that clearly does not need iron or B12 anytime. Also, I did the art for this. That's pretty cool. Commissions are wide open, baby.
Thank you so much. And yes, the art is amazing. We will see it here very shortly. So thank you for that. Thank you for being here. Thank all of you for being here. A couple of other shout outs, and I'll talk quickly about the fundraising that we are currently doing. I myself am the Bleakseason. You can find me at the Bleakseason on Twitter. Check out my website, bleakseason.com, where I keep all the information about my games. You can find me here on Guildspear running games all the time. We got a ton of good stuff coming up this week. I will talk about that in a few moments. I do want to do a couple of shout outs. First of all, the music you're listening to comes from Tabletop Audio. You can check out their website, tabletopaudio.com, where you can get tons of free stuff, and I mean tons. You could be there for days just listening to all the various tracks. Couple bucks gets you into their Patreon, where you get even more variations on the different songs that they have, the music that they have. So, and more come in every week. So definitely, well, we love Tabletop Audio, and you should too. The game we're playing tonight is Vaesen. In addition to our charity that we're doing, we also have tonight a copy of the digital core book for Vaesen to give away thanks to our sponsors, Free League. We will be doing that at the end of the game. To enter the drawing, you type !drawing into the chat. You will be entered into the into the drawing and be around at the end of the game to claim your prize if you do win. Free League does tons of great games. We're super into Free League here. And again, talk more about a little bit of that in a little bit. I would like to give a shout out to Guild Superior, everyone here running the guilds, working behind the scenes. We got DM Dave in the house tonight, handling the moderation and putting some stuff up, the links up, and so on and so forth. So super appreciate you, Dave, being here and doing that. Also Andy and Ashley, who also work behind the scenes, and everybody else in the guild who plays in our games, hangs out with us, posts coffee memes in the Discord. We appreciate each and every last one of you. So thank you very much for doing that. If you want to come over and join us, click the button. Come drop in our Discord, maybe get in the game, post some memes, you know. We're hip like that. We're hip cats. That's what we do. We post coffee memes because we're hip. We are hip. And finally, yes, the art that for the character was done by KT. And what else? The last thing I will say is, yes, the No Kid Hungry. We are, along with Wanderer's Haven and Phoenix Iwaki, our two co-team members, co-members, whatever, teammates, raising money over the next couple of weeks for the No Kid Hungry. What's the word I'm looking for? Charity. Who feed kids. And I mean, you know, feeding kids, like, you know, on a scale of 0 to godly, that's like right up there. So, you know, there's it's as good as it's going to get. We do have a link for you to click on If you want to help out, you can donate if you can. That's great. We do have a little incentives for you, things you can buy, some advantages you can give to the players, and a bunch of other things. You can allow them to heal all their conditions, which they're bound to get a little later, and a bunch of other things. So please feel free to check out the page if you can. Help out. It's going to a really, really great cause. And we will be doing a whole bunch of stuff. All our games this week and next will feature this. And we have 2 special games. On Saturday, we have back-to-back Lord of the Rings 5e games, which are the new game that just came out from Free League. We're doing back-to-back games on Saturday, where DM Dave is going to GM one with a group of players playing characters, and then right away, an hour later, I will GM a second one with different players playing the same characters and continuing the adventure. So that should be a lot of fun. And next Friday next week, not the one coming up next, but the one next week, we have, on the 19th, we have a special Blade Runner game with a twist, which I'm not going to reveal just yet. But it's going to be good. And we got fantastic cast again for that. Also including Darling Creepshow, Eric Mona, Crombie, and our own DM Dave. So please, if you have a couple bucks to spare, hit that donate button. Get yourself some in-game action and help out some people. Just before we started here, we did get $100 donation. Was it $100, $150 donation? I have to go check. Anonymous. So if you're in, Monsieur or Madame Anonymous, if you are in the chat, thank you so much. You just bought a whole bunch of kids, a whole bunch of meals. So we super appreciate it. All right, with all that out of the way, that's it. Stream's over. Everyone died. Don't at me. I'll tweet about the game later. I'll just tweet out what happened in the game. Thank you for joining us, people. We will get into this. So last time, a bunch of things that happened. Last time you were in this little village or little town where you've been hanging out called Ormsdaler, and you came here. Well, actually, 2 of you were already here. Father Victor Nyland was already here, having arrived about a month earlier in this little village that had decided they needed a priest here because they used to be, a little bit more pagan, and they were sort of hoping to bring the light of the church to their town. Rudolph is a hunter, mysterious and dour, who lives in the area also. But into this town came Vendela and Britta, having been brought here by a letter sent by a resident of the place who felt there were strange things going on, and knowing that Vendela was someone who, dealt in strange business, he wrote to her and asked her to come and help, which she did. She arrived with Britta, and together the 4 discovered various things about the little town here, most notably that a long time ago they used to have harvest rituals where they would sacrifice an animal and deposit different pieces at 4 different sort of holy sites, and in that way ensure a good harvest. In time that had sort of fallen by the wayside. The last few years had been a little difficult, and they'd been talking about perhaps reviving that practice, when suddenly overnight at some point sacrifices were placed at each of the 4 special areas, except that this time they were the parts of a human being. And so fearing that someone, and then there was a great harvest that next year, so fearing that someone would try again, and Sonia, thank you for dropping it, fearing that someone would go ahead and do the same thing again and murder somebody else, Jor, the lumberjack, had asked Vendela to come. You had gone around, examined the 4 sites, realized that there was none of them had any more spirits tied to them. They were empty, the spirits having abandoned long ago, perhaps because of Lock Spindler Industry, who's been in an area, clear cutting, bringing in oil, etc., and just kind of damaging the land. You were Father Victor then, at some point during the first night, was taken by a group of thugs, questioned, as someone apparently wanted to know information about Vendela. You eventually managed to escape the clutches of these people who had kidnapped you. And a lot of you together had managed, through your investigation, to figure out that there was probably some sort of Landvitir, or some sort of Fehlgeist, which is a sort of field spirit that was in town. You heard about a strange shadow creature that walked around the village at night and was eating sweets off of people's windowsills and the things that people had left around, pies and things of that nature. And you had eventually realized that you were dealing perhaps with a Fieldgeist, but you don't know how to deal with the Fieldgeist itself. And so as we when we finished last game, Father Victor and Rudolph had gone back to the church, only to realize that beneath the church, underneath the floor, there was an ancient room, which used to be the old mill, the basement of the old mill before they moved it when the water had kind of dropped, the water level dropped. And you'd found in the basement several barrels of what looked like some sort of toxic-ish sort of material that had been there for quite a while. And while that was happening, Vendela and Britta had gone to the inn to try and talk to August Sharp to see if he had any information about Fieldgeists and how to banish them. And as you were walking into the inn, you ran into Vendela. Sort of just walked right past walked right past this man, but a man coming out sort of bumped into Britta and looked at Britta and seemed to recognize her. And that is where we were when we left off last time. This man, as I was saying last time, bumps into you and says, "Oh, Britta? Is that you, Britta?"
Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you turn around and you look at this man. This man's quite older than you. He's probably in his mid-50s. And as I was saying last time, he's got kind of the bearing of a military bearing, and he's got like, he's got a saber, and he's got like, he doesn't have medals, but he, appears to be some sort of military man. And yes, he looks at you and he seems completely flabbergasted and sort of bowled over, absolutely certain that he recognizes you. And he says, "Britta, is that you? How can that be?"
Yeah. I think you had mentioned that he had like a locket or something that had.
Oh yeah, I was just rewinding a little to go back over that to provide the information.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But if you want, I'll humor you. You're sick, I'll humor you. Yeah, so he had said, so I'll just narrate that. So he had said that he knew you. He was amazed that you looked so young, and he said, he asked if you remembered him from where you met at a cafe in Danzig in Poland so many years ago, and he wondered at why you looked so young. And then he pulled out a locket and showed you an image inside of a woman who looked pretty much exactly like you. And he showed you that, and he's like, "But it can't be. How is it possible? You look no older than you were when I last saw you 20 years ago."
I'm sorry. I don't think we've ever met before.
I'm Matthias, Captain Matthias Sundin. I was only a corporal back then, but you don't remember me.
I'm sorry. Does Kitten have any kind of recollection of this?
No, Kitten kind of looks up, sees him, goes back, puts its head back down.
Yeah. Not like any kind of like from
Nope,
Kitten.
not hissing or nothing.
Okay, interesting. Can I see that locket?
Absolutely. And he hands it to you.
Does it look at all like the other, like the silver locket from the crap, what's his name?
No,
Scary Man?
No, not at all. Not at all. This is, it looks
Very
kind of like maybe
different
a family heirloom or something like that. And when you look at it, I mean, obviously back then people didn't see their faces as often as we see them now. They had mirrors and all that, but they were constantly looking at themselves online and so on and so forth. So, but as you're looking at it, you can clearly see the resemblance, but there's a little something that's kind of off. Like it's not quite exactly you, but there's clearly like a strong resemblance there. Like you would certainly understand why he might have made that mistake. He's like, is your name Britta von Sydow?
I don't know my last name.
And you come from here. You've been here all your life.
No. Where did you say you came from?
Well, I was born here originally, but I was in the military most of my life. See, and I traveled abroad quite a bit, and it was in Poland that I met Britta. She worked at a small cafe that I used to frequent back then, and
I've never been to Poland.
I'm sorry. Obviously, you're not her. You're much too young. Was your mother named Britta also?
I don't know.
Very strange. Well, you look quite like her, but now that I look at you closer, I can see some differences, but it is very, very strange. I'm very sorry. It's very unseemly for me to approach you this way. I realize that it's not very proper, and I apologize for my manner, and I especially apologize if I've upset you in any way. That I was just quite taken by surprise.
No, you haven't upset me in any way. I wish I knew who you were. I wish I knew anything about this. I wish I had answers.
Well, here, and he undoes the little locket and he hands it to you. He's like, how about you keep this? Look, I live here. You can find me here anytime you want. If ever you want to talk about this or hear about Vibert, I'd be happy to do so. But even if you just perhaps want to pursue this and look into this, this might help you along the way. It comes also from Danzig. It was made by a jeweler there, and I can give you the address. And he tells you the address of the place after kind of thinking about it for a little bit. He tells you the name of the street where the cafe was, although I'm not sure if the cafe will still be there. It was some time ago, but the address of the jewelers where I had the locket made is here. The name of the jewelers is here on the back of the locket. If ever you want to pursue this, it's quite remarkable.
Of course, thank you. Yes.
My name is Matthias. You call me Matthias.
Matthias. Thank you, Matthias. It was nice to meet you.
Absolutely. And like I said, I live here. If ever you wish to talk some more about this, I'll be around. But please take some time to think things through. I'm afraid I need to do the same also. But
of course.
Thank you for taking the time to speak to me. It was brought back some fond memories.
I'd love to hear them someday.
Well, you can always find me here. You can always ask here, where's the captain, and they'll tell you where the old captain is, and they'll direct you to where I live, or we can meet here if you want. But please, I'm sorry, I've taken enough of your time. Very fortuitous meeting you this way, and I wish you the best. I really do. I really do.
Thank you. And you as well.
Thank you, ma'am. And he'll walk away and look over his shoulder once, and still kind of seeming like what the...
Yeah, Britta's keeping eyes on him the whole time.
He'll eventually just kind of disappear down the road and heading back towards where the houses are.
Mm-hmm.
He sprouts wings and flies off. No.
Oh, great. Perfect. That's it. He turns green.
That's right.
Oh, boy. I think Britta's going to, like, absentmindedly start just, like, petting Kitten between the ears and, like, turning this locket over in her hands. She's feeling so lost and confused right now. And also we have a task at hand, and she's got to get back to Vendela. So
would you while you're taking a look at this this locket, would you give me a,
Yeah.
let's say, a empathy and inspiration roll?
Oh, okay. All right. Hey, one success.
Nice, amazing. As you hold it in your hand, you can kind of feel there's something about it. There's a little bit of power about it that sort of emanates and that you can feel when you hold it in your hand. So there's definitely something about this locket that's special.
Does it? Yeah. Okay. All right. I guess I don't get to have any other information. That's fine.
I'll show it perhaps to someone who knows a bit more about these things.
Okay. All right.
Heading into the inn.
I'll tuck it somewhere close. Maybe I'll give it to Kitten. Yeah.
To play with.
Yeah. No, he likes to just hold things, and he does a really good soft mouth, and so he'll soft mouth the locket, and then yeah, we'll head back to the end.
Nice. Inside, Vendela, you walk in and scan the room looking for August Sharp, the British writer that you met on the coach that brought you here. You are looking around. You don't spot him right away, and then you realize Vendela's not there. But then you hear, Miss Ekstrom. Such a delight to see you again. And you see August Sharp coming towards you with a little bowler hat in his hand.
Oh, Mr. Sharp, how have you been finding the village?
It's a very interesting place. It's very interesting. It's full of stories. Everyone's got a story to tell. They've got quite the background here. I found out that some 100 years ago or so, they used to, and he looks around, they used to make sacrifices to the land spirits here in order to facilitate the coming of the harvest. It's not unlike other stories I've heard, but I think a lot of people here still would cling to those beliefs.
Oh, remote villages, that's not surprising. That is fascinating tales to find.
Absolutely. I was just about to sit down for some coffee and perhaps a hard-boiled egg. Would you like to join me?
Oh, yeah, I have a few minutes to spare. I was actually curious about some of the tales you'd found.
Oh, well, I've found so many. I should have come here in the first place. I think I made the mistake of going originally to the bigger cities, thinking that perhaps in the universities and libraries they would have these things. But it's really the people in these little villages that seem to have the most fascinating stories to tell. How has your stay been so far?
Oh, it's been there hasn't been a dull moment. Just catching up with an old friend and taking in the scenery around the area.
But, quite the storm last night also.
Oh yes, there was quite a bad bit of flooding. I hope nothing got too damaged during the storm.
Oh, do you know what I've heard? Apparently there's someone going around stealing pies and stuff that people leave on their windowsills, or someone even stole a whole jar of sweets from the grocer as he was bringing in his things one night.
From out of his hands?
No, apparently it was sitting on the corner of the porch or something.
Oh, I see.
Yes, I don't think the spirits are quite that adept at legerdemain.
Yeah. Oh, I feel like I've heard a story about something like that. Have you?
Yeah, I did, in fact, remind me of something. He looks, rummages through his satchel, and he pulls out his little book, and he starts flipping through it. Would you give me, Vendela, a learning check?
Yes. My stats. One success.
All right. That's good enough.
Rolled like 5 1s. That was terrible.
5 1s. Sheesh.
My God.
If this was Shadowrun, you'd be toast. But one's enough. One's good enough. He's like, yes, here. I do have a story of something like that. I got this in Germany, though. It wasn't in Scandinavia. something about corn demon. I don't know if you ever heard of these. Some sort of they're called corn diamond, and they're these creatures that facilitate the harvest, as the people here used to worship, I guess. In German folklore, they would often require payment in the form of, it says here, anything sweet, whiskey and milk, things of that nature.
Oh, that does seem to match what's going on in the town. Perhaps.
What do you mean? What's going on in town?
Well, you mentioned the candy.
Oh, yes.
The sweets.
Yeah.
Clearly, some of the children must be grabbing them and trying to lure one out.
Of course, you don't believe, do you, that there's some sort of corn demon running around stealing people's sweets off their porch?
I think people would notice a corn demon.
He's going to see if you're lying to him. Do you want to try to dissemble?
Sure. Yeah, let's do that. What is that roll?
You can roll your empathy.
Okay. And manipulation?
And yes.
Okay. Two successes.
Oh, I've got 2 successes too. And so you see him just sort of arch an eyebrow and then kind of lean back. And how have you've been meeting old friends, you said?
Oh yes, one I met on a trip I took several months ago, and
I thought you were going to say Tinder. Never mind. Carry on.
Unlogging euphemisms that I'm not aware of.
It's a
British
British slang, yes.
Oh,
yes.
Fascinating how you do things over there.
Oh yes, very much so. Yeah, you should come visit someday. But you you were saying you were swiping right on this gentleman, and
I was saying, yeah, clearly some of the children must have gotten it in their heads that they could lure out a corn demon or something like that, and are stealing the sweets around town to try to lure it out, I'm sure. You can probably find them in the bushes or something like that.
Perhaps. It is interesting, though, to me how these stories transfer from one place to the next. From Germany to here, and even in jolly old England, we have very similar stories. It seems like a very universal aspect to these folk tales. Like they all come from the same source in some way, shape, or form. It does, in some ways, make me feel like we are perhaps, as people, closer than we think. We have different languages, different customs, different histories, but still, we share so much. We have so much in common. It's fascinating. I find it fascinating.
It is.
Well, would you like a hard-boiled egg? I'm going to have a hard-boiled egg and some toast. At that moment, Britta, you walk in and find Vendela and the gentleman sitting at the table.
Oh, no egg for me. Britta, hi. Would you like to join us?
Are there eggs?
Oh, hi, Ms. Britta. He gets up and he pulls a chair
If you would
for
like one.
Not me, but Kit loves eggs.
I'll be happy to give Kitten. Get him a. You sure you don't want just coffee, toast, perhaps?
Coffee is fine for me.
So he'll ask the waiter over and he'll pass some orders and they'll bring in some coffee. And how are you finding this little town, Miss Britta? Everything to your liking?
Very interesting townfolk you have here.
No, they're not my townfolk. I'm from Britain, but...
Sure. I meant the royal you.
Oh,
From
yes.
Britain. You know about the royal
I know
you.
this, absolutely. The monarchy. Huh.
Right.
Yes,
right.
I live for it.
Yeah. How about you? How are you finding yourself in this town?
I'm it's quite pleasant. The storm last night rattled my cage a little bit, but other than that, I'm picking up some great stories and finding out some interesting things, especially how all these stories connect. I was just telling Miss Vendela here that I've heard stories in Germany about these corn demons that would be paid off in sweets and whiskey and milk and things like this, and help the harvest. And apparently here in this very town, in a town that used to worship these kinds of spirits and sacrifice to them, apparently there's someone going around stealing sweets. That wouldn't be you, would it? You look like someone who's got a sweet tooth.
Oh, I mean, she arrived with us. I hardly see how she could have managed that.
True. Perhaps it's Kitten escaping at night and going to.
Britta is seething right now.
Oh, please, Miss Britta. I meant nothing by it.
I don't like being accused.
I wasn't accusing you. I was merely speaking in jest. But surely someone is doing it.
Well,
There's a nugget of truth in everything, isn't there?
Absolutely, even when people try to hide it.
I'm curious, with your research into these corn demons, like, so people just needed to set out candy to draw it to them in their farm or village?
And you see him thinking a little bit, and he seems to come to like some sort of decision, perhaps behind, somewhere deep inside. He goes, well, funny you should mention that. It's quite involved. It's a very involved process, in fact. And flips a couple of pages. And he's like, it's a very involved process. Would you excuse me? I think I need to excuse myself just for a minute to attend the water closet. But please feel free to peruse at your leisure. I'll be back in a few moments. Please excuse me, Miss Britta, Kitty, Miss Vendela. And he turns the book towards you and...
Thank you.
I think as soon as he sits up, Britta is fully going to go sit in his seat.
It's nice and warm.
Yeah. Have you gotten a chance to look at this book or no?
He just gave it to me. So...
I don't know if he gave you any other information on it.
Just that he's aware of the stories going around town of the sweets being taken and asked if I believed in that. And of course I said, it'd be hard to believe something you couldn't see. So,
are you worried about him knowing too much?
We've been having an interesting time with things knowing too much. So just a little bit, I suppose.
Okay, good.
Yes. So Benla is going to flip to the section on the corn demons to try to see if he has any notes on how to get rid of one.
It does indeed. So it does talk about them again, with the fact they're called Feldgeister or corn demon, and they are trollish or goblin, are usually dressed in farmer's garbs, carrying some farming tool, usually a scythe or sickle. All this you knew. They will accept offerings, anything sweet or milk with alcohol in it. This you knew. In exchange, they will leave behind seeds or kernels. This you knew. A Feldgeister would make a home for itself in a fallow field, creating a small mound of earth and hiding beneath it until the crops have grown, at which point it would emerge and scythe the crops down for people to pick up. Banishing a Feldgeister means finding its resting place at dusk, just before he emerges for the night. The warren must be surrounded with stalks from whatever crop they tend to favor. It must be lured from the warren with a bowl of milk filled with alcohol and sugar. Once it emerges, the stalks must be set on fire. The ritual words must be spoken as the stalks burn. The smoke will prevent it from returning to its warren. And the ritual words are, sheaves and stock and birds that flock, the sight works merrily away. Seeds and furrow for plenty tomorrow, the scythe works heartily away. Fall in spring bounty you bring, the scythe takes everything away. Corn, wheat, and barley, the king must now away. His scythe no longer needed, now our hunger is sated. Once it returns to its warren, salt the earth with holy blessings and leave the field fallow for 1 year and 1 day.
Seems like an involved process.
Yes, leaving it fallow for a year could be a little tricky, but we could always get Yor involved in that. Liz just been scribbling notes in her notebook, and she kind of looks around to make sure they still have a bit of quiet, and is just like, there's something I'd wanted to mention to you, Britta, but I don't know if the public room is the place for it. Perhaps we could, when Mr. Sharp gets back, we can make our excuses and I could talk to you in private for a moment.
Absolutely. There's something I should maybe discuss with you as well.
Yeah, of course. Is everything all right?
Yeah, of course.
You will find the, I put the ritual, not all the different little parts. I'll walk you through it as you go, but I put the words down on your note tab, info tab.
Nice.
And thing. So eventually, August will return and find everything you needed then.
Oh yeah, this is fascinating. All the notes on these different stories you collected. It's very impressive work.
Overlap. It's very interesting. I look forward to bringing these back home and studying further how the stories from here and from Germany and other places I visited overlap with the stories we have back home, because we do have quite a lot of these. I think you call them in your language Vaesen.
Yes, that is the term, Vaesen.
I believe well, some people probably believe that we have some of those back home also. But I guess that there are powers in nature that we cannot explain, and nature is everywhere, so.
Very true. Well, if you publish your findings, I will have to keep an eye out for your book.
I will be certain to send you one in Uppsala if I do.
Oh. You're too kind.
No, please, please. I'm British.
Britta does not laugh at that.
So you'll finish having a little bit of breakfast, I guess, or your coffee, and then make your excuses, and he'll say, well, "We'll see you later. I'm around if you need me." Ta.
Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you very much. You too. Bye-bye, kitten.
Kitten growls.
Twirls his mustache deviously. I'm kidding.
Red flag, red flag.
Red flag.
Kitten has a mustache?
Yes. Kitten's the BBEG, don't you know?
That's right. Kitten's eating all that food to get strong, take us down.
Mm-hmm. All those eggs.
All those eggs and the basket of bread and the meat.
The pastries.
The pastries.
Yep. All of it.
Kitten's been eating good today.
Yeah.
Kitten has been taking food down. He's good. He's good.
Kitten's gonna be so fat by the time this scenario is over.
Exactly.
Chonk.
Chonk boy.
So you'll head back if you want to. As you're walking back, you can have a bit of discussion. I'm sure Father Victor and Rudolph will wait a few more minutes before we.
Yeah. So again, doing a quick scan to make sure no one's nearby or eavesdropping. Vendla's going to say, "Do you remember the little what was his name again? Remind me. It was
Who? What? Where?
On the island, the little fairy on the island.
Oh yeah, there was. I will tell you momentarily. Would you stop not working? Thank you very much.
Constant battle with technology.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. Let me check here instead. Ooh, that was bright. Man, it's on the tip of my tongue too. Session 1. Going back several years.
I thought there was a T in it. I don't know.
You were on top of a rock. I mean,
I was on top of a rock. I didn't really hear much. You're going to say, "Do you remember this person?" And I'm going to say, "No, I was on a rock."
Fair.
it was in the second session, actually, I believe. Was it? No.
No, that was the first session.
First one.
Yeah, it was first session because it was before the kidnapping.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was on the island with the sheep. Hadron? I remember the sheep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
When you remember the sheep, but not the actual NPC.
That's right. Fennedir.
I don't
That
remember the name.
Fennedir.
Fennedir,
Yeah.
thank you. Remember the sheep.
Oh no.
You know, the sheep's
Priorities.
important.
It knows
berries.
things. Yeah.
So yeah, Fennedir, the little fairy thing.
Thank you. She's going to kind of lower her voice as she walks with Britta and says, Fennedir, the little fairy creature I was talking to at the tree while you were up on the rock.
Oh, right. That's the face that I think I saw when I was on the rock.
Yeah, he was keeping an eye out for danger. He said, he mentioned something about you. Specifically your heritage.
Whatever he said would be news to me.
He said your heritage was similar to mine, actually.
Oh. That's impossible.
Yes, I noticed. I have seen Britta's ears, right?
Yeah, they're not quite like yours, though.
No. Nice, normal round ears. Yes, I've noticed you don't have the situation I have. Lucky in some regards. Actually, in a lot of regards.
Yeah.
But he said it was, I believe the term used was, and correct me if I'm wrong, Svartalheim? I think that's what it was. Yes, that there are different types of elves, light and dark, and the dark ones are from the realm of Svartalheim, and he identified as your heritage being that one.
Oh.
I mean, he said that I had mentioned that the changeling baby situation you'd been looking into, and he had argued with me that no, you are the changeling, that there is no changeling baby, which he wouldn't know that, but
yeah, how would he know anything about me at all?
Apparently, I guess he can recognize more unique heritages on site given what he is. But I thought I should let you know.
Right.
And Venla is going to say in that Elven language she spoke with Fennedir, she's going to say to Britta, can you understand what I'm saying at this moment?
Can I?
And you can. But you remember not being able to on the island.
What?
Da, 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 da.
Can I right, Britta's fists are like clenched so tightly. This makes her so uncomfortable. This idea that there's something about her that someone else knows that she doesn't. But upon hearing those words and understanding them, I think Britta's fists unclench and she softens and she reaches up to rub behind Kitten's ears, and she sort of like puts her hand under Kitten's mouth, and Kitten will drop the locket into her hand, and she'll hold it out to Vendela and say, a man thought he knew me. A captain here thought he knew me from Poland from many years ago. And she'll pop the locket open and show Vendela the picture.
Huh. That's a striking similarity. On first glance, I'd think it was you.
Me too.
Did he call you a different name?
No, he called me Britta. I've never known my last name. I've been a servant since before I can remember anything.
But
he called me Britta. And he said I had a last name too.
What was the last name?
Oh, I forget.
Von Sydow.
It was that.
Does that name ring any bells with me? I don't think it would, but just on the
No.
off chance. Okay.
But you can go ahead and make an empathy and inspiration roll if you want.
Yeah, why not? Okay.
The locket is covered in mink spit, by the way. Just
One
silver
success.
clear.
Is it silver? The locket?
No, it's gold.
Okay.
But you do, with your one success, you do feel power. You can see it sort of playing and radiating around it, and there's definitely magic that you recognize as being closely kin to elfin magic.
There's some sort of elven magic on this locket.
Is this why I can understand you now? Can I like?
Let's test. Well, I mean, you can hold it.
I won't chuck it. I won't chuck it.
Treasured item. Skip it across the lake.
Bye-bye, locket. Hey, fuck off,
Yeah.
hey, locket.
Yeah, I'll pop it back closed and hand it to Vendela, I guess.
And Vendela will hold it and just kind of say a few words in Elven again.
And you don't understand a word that is coming out of her mouth now. However, now that you are holding it, Stephanie, would you make me a magic roll?
Oh.
So roll your empathy and your magic
Oh my,
Ooh.
oh my.
Oh, there's a...
as it possesses you and turns you into
Oh, fun. It's not like I'm a specialist.
Turns you into a giant Furby.
Oh, no!
It's fine, right?
a dark Furby.
Right? A dark Furby.
That's just one.
That's good enough. So you instinctively kind of understand it as you grasp it in your hand and look, and you realize it's not elfin magic actually, but it's trollcraft. Trollcraft is a form of magic that's usually practiced by trolls and fairies that involve bending time and space or altering reality in various ways. As you hold it and you feel the power in it, and you can kind of sort of read it and kind of instinctively sort of understand, you do understand that yes, it is the thing that is giving her the ability to troll speak, in fact, which is the ability to understand several different types of ancient sort of fairy languages. But there's also more about it. You understand that whoever is holding this locket, if they have the ability, they can use it to make themselves look and sound different.
Oh.
Ruh-roh.
Then I just kind of got a staring suspiciously at the locket and relays that information to Britta and is like, I would hold on to that and not let anyone know about it. I don't- This might not be the only language it lets you understand, and it's always good to have something that'll help you make a quick getaway if necessary.
Does it feel? Yeah. Is this magic that Britta could use? Like, could?
I don't know.
Mhm. Okay. All right. Fine.
Do you
Let me
try?
understand languages.
Do you try?
Yeah. I kind of want to know if I can. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So, well, let's see if you can do a, we'll say it's empathy and manipulation, because that is what you would use to activate the power. So,
Okay. Well, I have 3 extra to manipulation, so.
there you go.
Ooh, all right. Okay, that's fine. We got 2 successes. That's fine.
That's good. You only need one.
I was
So as you're holding it, who are you thinking of?
yeah, no, I'm thinking of the captain, right? The captain was the one that gave this to me.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of.
And so as she stands in front of you, you slowly see her transforming into this older gentleman with like this very sort of military kind of carriage and the gray hair that's cut really short, and a nice little gray mustache, and a nice little derby hat, and a saber to the side, and it's kind of wobbly. Like you can clearly see that it's some kind of illusion or glamour that's on her, and she doesn't quite have it yet, but you can see it form around her.
Yeah, it's working. Just kind of pulling her off the main outside of where anyone wants. Like, maybe we don't do that on the street, but yeah, you could definitely use that.
Oh, sure. Okay. Sorry. I'm gonna try to like wipe it off on the ears. Not be the captain anymore.
Just put it back in Kitten's mouth.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I'm gonna put the locket back in Kitten's mouth and just like shake it.
Kitten transforms into no, I'm kidding.
Oh god, can you imagine?
Kitten is magical. Like we know this, right?
That's right. So do you
right
continue
heading back to the others?
I think so the first thing we need to do, right, is figure out where this thing rests. Is that right?
There's a fallow field. There's a mound of dirt in it that it will rest, and then we need milk with alcohol and sugar to lure it out.
And
Sure.
You need to figure out what because you need stalks from a particular grain, right? Whatever grain that
Yes.
Right. What
favors? It was leaving barley seeds.
barley, right? For the
Barley.
pies.
Yes.
Great. Okay, so on our way to the others, can we
Collect some items at the
collect
market.
some items? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you can get like the milk and the alcohol and things of that nature. The stocks will probably be a little bit more difficult to get. But meanwhile, while you are off shopping, back at the church.
Girls trip. Shopping trip.
Back at the church, you find yourselves, Victor and Rudolph, looking down into the pit now, I guess that would be where the main floor of the church used to be. And what you're looking at is this basement where a number of barrels have been destroyed a long time ago. Whatever stuff was in them has discolored the stone, and you can still see residue, but it's not there anymore. Like it's either evaporated or been washed or whatever, but it certainly has been there for a little bit of time. And again, as you saw last time, there is some symbols here that are carved into the ground. But as we return to the site of the church, what are you doing?
Is there an obvious way to get down there safely?
Yeah, you would need a ladder, but certainly Victor would know there's a ladder somewhere. There's scaffolding, and they're working on the church. So you could go out and go get a wooden ladder, and if you say, I've already put it there right for you.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Because, yeah, Rudolph would, like, crouch down by the edge and then just, I think, without even looking at Victor, say, ladder.
And Victor would nod, look down, just sigh heavily, and then go outside to get the ladder.
Not a problem. You can find a couple of them, in fact, next to the various scaffolding that's out there, and you bring it back in.
Rudolph will help. He just didn't know where they were. He wouldn't want Victor to strain himself.
I mean, that's fair. Victor definitely could not handle that ladder by himself.
And then we'll place it, and I think Rudolph is just going to start climbing down.
And Victor will follow.
Not a problem. As Rudolph goes down, as Victor is about to go down, Barrett pops her head up and goes, "What in tarnation is down there? You're gonna hurt yourself, Father. What are you doing? You can't be climbing up and down stairs, ladder like that, Father. You're gonna hurt yourself."
I appreciate your concern, Barrett. I will be fine. And he looks down at Rudolph and then back at her and says, I have Rudolph here. I'm sure I'm in good hands.
Should I go get someone competent?
I trust Rudolph's assessment of the situation.
That's not what you were saying yesterday, but you were the father. Oops.
And again, Barrett, I appreciate your concern. A lot can change in a day.
Mm-hmm. So it seems. Well, I'll go get the first aid kit. Trolled off.
Thank you, Barrett.
Rudolph has no time for gossip, so I'm gonna try
Get
to
downstairs.
examine the substance. Yeah.
So you can see in the piles of debris that are here, there's you can see old bags or old barrels, and there's the stamp from the mill that you saw earlier. So this is clearly used to be the basement of the old mill, and they just kind of threw junk in there and probably kind of covered it back in the day before they decided to build a church on it. You can see that in time the walls have kind of broken down a little bit, and there's a little bit of water that trickles through. And as I was mentioning last week, also the barrels at the center, the ones that are broken that seem to have that goo or whatever it was, are stamped with that symbol that you saw on the watch, which was that Jormungandr Ouroboros serpent, its own tail around the Yggdrasil tree.
Is there a roll that I can make to determine what the substance is?
Absolutely. You can do an investigation roll.
Just look it. It's fine.
Yeah, that's...
We must not let the intrusive thoughts win. 2 successes. Yeah, 2.
Right. So you don't know what it is, all right? Just because I really don't think there's any way, shape, or form chance that you would have encountered this before. However, the information you do glean, one, is that it is similar to the stuff that you found in the old sawmill where you found the body. It does have a sort of powdery feel to it, a little bit, and I think maybe the closest thing that it is not that, but the closest thing you kind of feel would be something like lye. Maybe it's discolored to stone. So it seems kind of to have that same property that lye would have, of being kind of not abrasive, but you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You do notice that the wood itself from the barrels does not appear to have been affected by that. And I will say that your conjecture is that it reacted to the water, and that's what, in its powdered form or whatever it was in the barrels, it was stable and safe, and then once it reacted with the water, it would have done something else. And it's just the fact that it's been here so long that it's discolored to stone and whatnot at length, but for the immediate effect, it would probably need that reaction with the water that's there. And I will also say you have sixth sense, right? Is it you who has sixth sense?
I don't. Victor does, I believe.
So while you're looking at that, Victor, I will say that your sixth sense will tell you that there is an aura of something supernatural, not in the entire basement, but definitely like around this stuff and sort of what's around there. So it's definitely not natural. Something else that I will tell you with your investigation roll, Rudolph, is you can see in some places there are cracks where, roots and plants and things like that would have started over time kind of finding their way through and coming in, and wherever this stuff is, those things have just kind of rotted away and kind of died out.
Okay. And if I circle over to the other side, these runes are actually painted on the floor in red, right?
Yep.
Is it blood?
It doesn't appear to be, no.
Okay. And they don't necessarily mean anything to me.
Give me a learning roll.
Okay. Nope. Okay. I got exclusively 1s and 2s.
No.
Okay.
Victor would ask Rudolph, what do you make of this? Is it dangerous?
He'll nod and kind of shrug and say, lie, but in a way where he's not entirely sure. It's just a guess. And then he'll point at the runes and say, don't know what this is, though.
I would like to make a learning check on the runes.
Go.
One success.
Okay. You don't necessarily know what they mean, but you remember seeing them. You remember seeing at least something similar when you were at the Weeping Rock, and Vendela had found a bunch of them carved into the Weeping Rock. One of them resembled one of the ones here.
I wish I could say I know what it means. It looks familiar to the site we were at yesterday with the Weeping Rock. But all of this, and he gestures towards the substance on the floor, there's something not right about it.
Saw this stuff at the sawmill. Not as much of it, but not sure what it's for, but it reacts with water.
And I'm sure yesterday's storm was a great thing to have happen here. Can't believe this was under the church the entire time.
Churches are full of secrets, Father.
As you pondered that last... I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I keep going.
Go ahead.
They're done. I just want to see you hear footsteps upstairs as Vendela and Britta return, but I'm very happy to let you continue have your moment there. I just,
Why, you had something to say, Victor?
Victor is quiet for a moment and then says, well, earlier you had said something about confession.
Not a priest. Not anymore.
I know. And I don't think you're going to appreciate this from me, Rudolph. And with that, Victor kneels down, makes the sign of the cross, and says, "Bless me, Father, for I have sinned." It has been... And he looks up at Rudolph meaningfully and says, well, you know how long it's been since my last true confession, because you were the one who took it.
There's more.
Rudolph, you were the only person I ever talked to about the voice. And he's quiet for a moment, and in that moment, he looks both older than his mere 24 years and exactly like the young priest who just took up the collar and has been placed here. in a situation way over his head. And he takes a deep breath and then continues. I found out something disturbing about the voice.
Rudolph, I think, is going to sit down on the floor with a big sigh and pull out a flask of something, open it, take a sip, pass it over to Victor.
And Victor looks at it and then shrugs one shoulder and takes a sip and hands it back to Rudolph. Rudolph, I know you don't particularly like me, but do you think I'm a bad person?
It's not you, per se.
Then what?
Came a long way out to the middle of nowhere to disappear, where nobody would know me or recognize me or know what I'd done. And then one day, out of the blue, you turn up.
I can see how you would have been less than pleased about that.
It's a little suspicious, if I'm honest.
Rudolph, I was as shocked to see you here as you were to see me.
I believe you. Now. But do I think you're a bad person? Think everybody is a little bit bad. I think it's what you do with that part of you, that voice, whether you listen to it, that matters.
And Victor nods and is quiet for a moment, and then looks over at Rudolph and asks, "Did you always know that the voice was me? That it was mine?"
I've seen a lot of things walking this earth, as long as I have, and the paths that I've taken. Monsters and spirits and witches. But I've never seen an angel. I've never seen God or the devil. Or all the things out there in the world, hiding in the dark corners and whispering into men's ears. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a story I don't believe. Except maybe that one. Maybe that book. It's a good story. Maybe that's all it is.
Is that what made you give up the collar?
I gave up the collar long before I left the church. I just never took it off.
Rudolph, I don't know if I realized until last night exactly what I was capable of, because if that voice was mine all along, that voice has a lot of dark, twisted, and ugly thoughts.
Well, we never know what we're capable of, Father, until we find out. Until you're walking away from a burning church. Kind of stares off into the middle distance. He's not looking at Victor. He takes another pull from the flask. A big pull. And says, still see it sometimes when I sleep at night. You know, it starts off small, little things. Love, right? It feels so good. How could it be wrong or sinful? Or any of the other stuff they tell us? Even if you're not supposed to. Even if they're married to someone else. But I thought it would be fine. I thought it would work itself out. What's the worst that could happen? Then she turned into a monster right in front of my eyes one night. And I killed her. I burned my church down with her inside it. And I left. And I never looked back. You don't know what you're capable of, Victor, until the monster's right in front of you.
Victor just silently reaches over and just rests a hand on Rudolph's arm.
He stiffens, but he won't shrug you off or anything. And he'll offer you the flask again, but when he offers you the flask this time, he'll stand up. And he'll say, probably best not to linger around this, whatever it is.
And Victor will take the flask and take another sip and then stand. And then just say, thank you for being honest with me, Rudolph. I suppose I never had any idea what had happened. but I always assumed that it was something about the voice that had made you leave.
We all got a voice inside us. Some are louder than others. Rudolph will move to the ladder, start climbing up.
And Victor will follow.
As you reach for the ladder, you hear, "That's very touching, boys, very touching." When you look up, you see, looking down the hole at you, broad hat, long reddish hair, red goatee. Someone that you, Father Victor, recognize from the train.
Victor will grab Rudolph's arm to stop him from starting to climb. And look up and say, "Thorstein, what is it that you want?"
I thought I gave you money to fix this place up, Father. I thought I give him money, he's gonna fix that church up, and no one's gonna ever find what I left downstairs. Yet here you are. Down there. I thought your little story was very interesting. Rudolph, is it? Very interesting because you know what one of my favorite thing is about the product in which you're standing? Is it's highly flammable. He snaps his finger, and as he does, this little puff of fire lifts up from it, and you watch it come down almost as if in slow motion and hits the ground at your feet, and there's kind of like this pause where nothing happens for a second, and then the entire basement is engulfed in flames. And on that note, we will stop for a short break.
No, I hate being on this side of that.
No.
I'm the one who ends with the cliffhangers.
Rude.
So rude.
So rude.
Confessions are private, Thorstein. God.
Good Lord.
I mean, at least he let us finish the conversation.
Seriously.
Very thoughtful.
Sure did.
He did. Vendela and Britta, you'll see a white raven coming towards you and seeming very agitated. But we'll see what happens when we come back. Thank you so much. It was an incredible moment. Thank you very much. All of you had fantastic role-playing. And, you know, that's why I ask you to be on these things, because you bring it. Everyone okay? Everyone good?
Yes.
So good.
That was so good.
All right. So, yeah, we'll take a short break. Just a quick reminder, we are raising some money for No Kid Hungry, a wonderful charity that gives food, that buys food or provides food for children who don't have any. One of the most important things we can do, of course, take care of our children. So we are doing that. You can, you will see a link in chat. You can go and donate if you want. If you do, you can buy yourself a little something to affect the game here in the second half. I have a feeling they're going to need some advantages, things of that nature. So if you have a couple spare dollars, it certainly goes along when it helps. Otherwise, we are super happy to have you all here. We do have a giveaway. We're giving away a digital copy of the Vaesen core book, thanks to our sponsors at Free League Publishing. So we will do that at the end of the session. If you want to enter, type !drawing in the chat, and you will be entered. And we'll do that after the end of the stream when we're done. So be here to claim that. That'll be cool. We're going to take a short break, and we will be right back in a few minutes. Please don't go away. And yeah, if you have any, please check out our fundraising effort there. And again, thank you so much. How amazing are these players? Absolutely riveting. Thank you so much for being here. All right. So let's go and take a break, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. Thank you very much. And we are back. Yeah, as I was saying, what was really hot was all that role-playing going on in the first half from everybody. Fantastic. That's why we pay you the big bucks. No, we don't pay you any bucks, but, you know. I'll send you guys some Canadian Tire dollar money.
You can give your bucks to No Kids Hungry.
Please,
Exactly.
please do.
Give them the bucks.
Please give
them
your
your
bucks to No Kid Hungry, because, you know, there are hungry kids out there. As myself as an educator, well, I teach college, so they're older, but my girlfriend teaches 5th grade, and she teaches in a fairly poor neighborhood. Then we're in Canada, so, you know, the school situation is not quite the same as in America, but even here, where, you know, people think of Canada as like, you know, this socialist haven, which it really fucking isn't. But even here, where there's a very, very strong social net. There's still a lot of kids that show up every day, having not eaten, having not, you know, been taken care of. So it's very sad to see that stuff. And so, you know, we have a lot of fun here playing games and all that. But this is a very serious cause, a very important cause, and I'm super glad that here at Guild Spear and everyone playing in our games and Phoenix Iwaki and Wanderers Haven are pitching in to try and do what we can. Obviously, we can't solve child hunger, but every little bit can help. So, thank you very much for all those of you who have donated. We're up to $385 in 2 days, not too bad. And reminder that if we go past our goal, Phoenix Iwaki and DM Dave have agreed to do a dance-off on stream. So, you know, let's get there. I mean, I want to film that for posterity, for reasons.
What are the details? Is this like a Just Dance situation, or like are we freestyling?
I think it's basically going to be one of those kind of challenges thing where one guy goes and then he pulls off some moves and then he points at the other, and one comes in and he busts a few moves, and then
incredible.
We go until someone breaks a hip because everyone's old.
I'll help fix you right back up. Don't worry.
Exactly. We have KT here, who you know, is a health specialist.
Yeah, you can just fly on down for some of that good old United States healthcare.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Katie with a scalpel.
Absolutely. Is this where you cut? No? Okay.
Is this where you cut? That's not even
please.
the patient. But speaking of, is this where you cut? Just before we left on our little refresher, we saw a couple fantastic scenes of role-playing, and we capped it off by setting the church on fire because it was thematically appropriate. Unfortunately, both Father Victor and Rudolph are in the basement right now. And you know, that wooden ladder with all that fire. I'm just saying, you know, it's been uglier, but not by much. And this is
I don't think it's been uglier.
No,
Yeah, no.
not in this game. Some of my other
This is
games
pretty bad right now.
So this is the man who has set you on fire, Thorstein, which,
Great.
you know. But right now, this is the scene.
Oh,
Outside.
that looks-
As
Yeah.
Oh, that spread fast.
yeah, well, so as Britta and Vendela, as you return, you hear screaming and clanging and people sort of rushing, and you look up and you can see, and even in the daylight, this glow that's sort of, you know, emanating. You can see dark smoke that's rising up, and then you realize the church is on fire. And so before we go back to the two corpses, the two characters inside, I would like to know what the two of you do. You can see a bunch of people sort of rushing and running towards that, people with pails of water, and there's someone pushing like a little sort of hand truck with like a big cistern on it, and it looks like there's a pump on it, and they're sort of rushing towards there, and people are yelling, "Fire, fire!" What would you like to do? You can see, as I was saying, the White Ravenraffen, who you know belongs to Rudolph, who is kind of flying and coming towards you, and sort of circling you and like looking quite agitated, and like. So tell me, what would you like to do, the two of you?
So are we in view of like the church
Yeah.
now?
Yeah. We'll say
Oh,
that
no.
you are in view of the church.
They're in the church, aren't they? Oh god.
They're in the church. They're totally in the church.
The bird wouldn't be freaking out if they weren't in the
They
church.
weren't in the church, yeah. Okay. So, I think Britta is gonna run towards the church, right? And I'm absolutely just like, right, looking at Vendela like, we gotta hustle, probably, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
there was a storm, so the wood should be wet, so it shouldn't be spreading too fast, but...
Sure. I mean, like, you can see what it looks like, though. How much milk did we buy?
Not enough.
Not enough. No.
Not enough.
All right, so you run towards that. Tell me one thing you want to do as you kind of get close to that place.
I'd like to attempt to like remain sort of hidden as best as I can from anyone that might still be potentially like inside, or from anyone that looks like they might be like intentionally watching the church burn down. Like from anyone suspicious, essentially. I'd like to maintain some sort of stealth.
Not a problem. And there's tons of people around this place now, and everyone's kind of focused on the fire.
The burning church, yeah.
So that's
as well they should be.
So that's not too much of a problem. What about Vendela?
So, quick question.
Yeah.
The rune I found at the Weeping Rock, would I have, at a point when I was in my room, have been able to look at my book of runes to determine what it was?
Yes.
Just because I remember I never brought that up, and maybe it'll help, maybe it won't, who knows?
Absolutely. Give me a second. And I will tell you what it is. The rune that you found is called Yagu's. It symbolizes intuition, emotions, flow, renewal, dreams, hopes, and fears, but it also represents water.
Okay. So I don't know what it can do until I use it, right?
Right.
Cool. Venla's just gonna try to find an opening for the church.
You want to go inside?
If there's a way she can get in without getting burned, yeah. I'm assuming the doors are open.
Yeah, so so the image there is a little over the top. Right now I would say like sorry.
I was gonna go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, could Kitten like try to scope out like a way to get in without, I don't know, being seen, or like a way to sneak in?
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. And it's not that much on fire. Like right now, you're seeing a lot of smoke start to come in, and there's probably you do see some flames sort of licking out where the windows are and things like that. But we haven't progressed this far yet. It's just because I'm not going to make the 10 stages of fire, but just to give you an idea. But yeah, so it's not like a burning inferno right now. Like you're just sort of catching it. So you can totally, if you want, kind of slip in there or send Kitten in there. I will say, so if you want to, Kitten can get in there, zero problems. As far as Vendela, people are going to try to stop you if they see you trying to get in there. So I would ask you to make a precision and stealth roll to try and sort of, not necessarily going to kind of hide in shadows or anything, but you're going to try to avoid people and kind of walk
maybe
behind
a back
the backs of
window or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Precision stealth. All right. That's one.
It's good enough. That's all you need. So you will find one of the things that you'll do, you'll go off to the side and you'll see there's scaffolding and things like that on the side. And you'll see that near one of the windows that hadn't been completely put in yet. So you can sort of climb on that scaffolding and slip inside if you want, and you will find yourself sort of where the kitchen is. If you remember in the layout of the church where the kitchen is sort of at the back, you'll see Britta's there, and she's kind of like sort of freaking out, and she's like trying to fill this pot with water, but it's totally not going to be useful at all. But so we'll see you managed to kind of get in there. And Britta, you were doing what with, you want to send Kitten in there? Kitten gets in there, no problem. What do you want?
Okay.
What do you want?
All right. Well, if Kitten can get in there, no problem. Can Kitten come back and sort of like what I was hoping is Kitten would be able to see like where people are positioned and then be able to direct me to a place where I could get where people would not be able to see me.
Absolutely. So Kitten will sort of you'll follow Kitten around over to the other side, and there's a side entrance that goes into the back end, so you'll be able to get there. But when you get there, the door is locked, so you're probably going to have to try and break it down. So if you would like to
What are these massive shoulders for?
Time for the gun show.
Exactly. So I will ask you to make me a physique and force roll.
Hell yes.
Hail to the yes.
Two successes, baby.
Awesome. So you see the door and you go to try and it's locked, and you're like, you just shoulder ram it.
Shoulder check it. 100%.
It flies completely open, and you find yourself sort of at the other end of where Vendela's come in. So Vendela's come in like sort of where the kitchen was, and you've come in sort of at the front where the altar was, and you can see that the floor is completely gone. I don't remember if you and Vendela had seen the floor gone. I don't think so, right? So as you kind of step in, you stop, as you can see that the floor has sort of completely sort of caved in, and you can see flames coming out of there, and you can see a couple of figures moving at the bottom, which let us see what they are doing. So I'm going to ask you what you're doing. I'll give you each an action, then we'll do initiative and sort of go with the initiative after that. So you are downstairs, the fire has sprung up, and this stuff has just burned right away, but it's burned really quickly, so that it didn't set off like this huge blazing inferno. It like gave this huge sort of rush as it burnt up, but then it petered down, and then the rest of the timbers and stuff started burning. So it was like a big flash of flames that probably kind of blinded you and, you know, kind of surprised you. But then it kind of petered down a little bit, and then of course the timbers and the floor, the remainder of the floor over you started burning. So there is fire, but it's not like you're in this raging inferno. What would you like to do?
Live, ideally.
Yeah, great question.
Yeah.
I guess I would still try to make for the ladder. So we didn't take any conditions or anything.
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. Cool. All right. And is the ladder intact?
It's a little on fire, but still seems fairly structurally sound for now.
Well, if it's just a little on fire.
Just a little.
What's a little fire?
Yeah, I'll try to. I would want to get up it before it's more on fire.
All right, so give me a physique and agility roll.
One success.
One success is good enough. So you start climbing up this ladder, just trying to be careful not to put your hand on where the fire is. Father Victor, you see Rudolph beelining up that ladder. What would you like to do?
What happens if I attempt to follow?
Well, I'll ask you to make me a physique and agility roll.
Is there a thing for giving somebody like a bonus?
Yeah, there would be a way to help, but you've already taken your action, unfortunately. If you had waited.
I was afraid.
Yeah.
2 successes.
Whoa, nice.
Yay!
Awesome. So you actually kind of overtaking Rudolph a little bit. And as you sort of climb up, you'll manage to get sort of to the side of it. At this point where you are, the fire's kind of spread around. So I'm going to ask both of you to give me a physique and we'll say force roll, just to see if you can withstand the heat and the fire and the smoke inhalation, all that's going on right now.
Oh.
Would this count as resisting magical effects?
Yeah, I will give it to you since the fire was magical. Yeah.
Okay. So while he is doing this, Rudolph will be clutching a knife that is made from what looks like a crucifix that he carries on him. And if it gives me +2, that's two extra dice.
Yeah.
Cool. 2 successes.
All right, no problem. So as you get up, you get a huge whiff of the smoke that just goes in, and the fire's there. But you manage to sort of climb down and kind of climb over the fire. What did you get, Father Victor? 0 successes.
I had a feeling you're so scrawny.
So scrawny. As you start climbing up, Father Victor, that same whiff of smoke that sort of came in will come and just sort of wash over you. And as opposed to climbing down, you kind of go like this, and it just fills your lung, and you start coughing. And you, Rudolph, hear Father Victor just start coughing. And as you kind of look over your shoulder as you climb, you see him fall off the ladder and back down onto the ground. You will take, I will say, for this 2 physical conditions, Father, as one from the smoke inhalation, and then the other one from falling back down and hitting down onto the stone pavement on the floor. So, Rudolph, you've climbed up, and we'll just do a quick initiative here just so that we can keep things in order. So, Vendilla will be a 2-4 for Britta, 3 for Rudolph, and 10 for Victor. All right, so you are climbing up. Britta, you come in, you see this hole, you see Rudolph just kind of climb up over the edge of it, and there's just smoke and sort of fire everywhere, and he comes up, and then you see him stop and look behind him very sort of quickly. And Vendela, you're coming, you see Barrett there with the thing of water, and you're like, it's not going to work. But then when you look through the door of the kitchen, you can see on the other side of the hole, you can see that Rudolph is kind of on the way out, and Britta's in there. So we'll start with, I think, Vendella got the 2. So what would you like to do?
So I'm going to make my way as quickly as I can, given the floor situation, to the pit, since I'm seeing Rudolph come out of it. So I'm assuming Victor is somewhere in that area. And judging by the smoke, the fire is definitely coming from the pit. I'm going to... Vendela is going to kneel as close to the edge as she feels is safe and kind of cover her nose and mouth with her arm, and she's going to try to carve the rune for water on the edge. With her knife, she's going to try to carve it into the wood and see if she can get something to happen.
Awesome. So give me a magic roll.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I'm going to use the wild branch to try to cast.
You do have an advantage each, right?
Oh.
That I give you every game. Don't know if you remember.
Oh, nice. That's just 1.
So that's good enough. So you take the branch and you start carving down. As you're carving it, you can feel that there's power sort of emanating from it. When you look down into the pit, you can see Father Victor lying on his back at the bottom of it. You can see that like there's fire sort of all over the place. And you also see like the other runes that are on the ground. They don't mean anything to you right now, but you do see them down there. And so you start drawing your rune, and you can feel that it's sort of coming to life with power. 4, that would be Britta. 3 first, that would be Rudolph. You started climbing up, you see Britta just in front of you, and then you hear coughing behind you, look back, and you see Father Victor fall back and slam on his back at the bottom of the pit.
I'm going to go back for him.
Ooh. Britta, you see him go back down.
Yeah.
So, all right, you slide, you do the old, you kind of slide down, not a problem. You land down next to him. He looks to be kind of battered. He's kind of picking himself up a little bit, but he looks a little bit battered. I'll give you the movement down there for free, so what action would you like to take?
Boy, okay. I think it's unrealistic. Yeah, I don't think Rudolph would be pretty smart about this. I think so. Rudolph's not going to like pick him up or anything, but he's going to haul him to his feet and shove him towards the ladder, and is basically going to tell him to start climbing. So I'm going to go up after him this time, and hopefully I can help him, and hopefully Britta can help pull him up also.
No problem. Speaking of Britta, you are at 4.
All right. Yeah. Do I see Thorstein anywhere? Yeah. No.
No.
He dipped.
He dipped. Okay. Is there anybody else in here except for Barrett and us?
You see Vendela now on the other side, and she looks like she's carving her initials, or, you know, Vendela loves you or something on the floor.
Yeah. Okay. So then, all right. So then in that case, I will go, over to the base of the ladder and attempt to, like, pull Victor up the rest of the way.
Okay. And then at 10, Victor.
Victor doesn't want to leave Rudolph behind.
Oh my god.
So the two of you hobble over to the stairs, and he's like, go up, and you're like, no.
I mean, he'll listen, but he's definitely going to be like, you're right behind me, right? You're
yes.
not. Okay.
Obviously. Climb.
Then I'm going to climb.
You start climbing, and you got help from Rudolph. So go ahead and make me again physique plus agility. Now you're at a 2 penalty because of your 2 conditions. But you get a +2 for Will helping, a +1, sorry, for Will helping you, or Rudolph helping you. So you're at a 1 penalty total.
Britta's also helping.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second.
Okay, fine.
1 success.
All right, so you're actually kind of managing, and as you're reaching up, you can see Britta sort of reaching down to try and help you, to pull you up, and you know she's like, you know, all buff and stuff. She's gonna be able to pull you up. But Britta, as you're leaning there, you hear, "You're such a disappointment. Do you know how difficult it was to find you, to bring you here, to put you in that house? And here you are meddling in affairs you should not be meddling in?"
Can I, like, turn her? Do I know that voice?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Britta can't help herself. She, like, turns around to see where it's coming from. I'm sorry.
You see Thorstein there hanging in the doorway, and he looks at you and goes, "Why don't you be a good girl and jump in that hole?" You find, as he speaks, this deep-seated desire inside of you to obey what he's saying, because it is a very life-threatening thing he's asking you to do. I'm going to give you a roll. I'm going to allow you to roll your straight-up logic. You do have an advantage that you can use still, I do believe, if you want.
I do. I also could. Can Kitten help me? Because I have pet.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I will totally allow you to get Kitten, as Kitten will kind of, you know, see what's happening and kind of hiss at you and claw at you and kind of try to get you to...
Okay, well, I did get 1 success thanks to Kitten, so...
All right, so you find it, when you kind of snap to, you realize you're just about to step off the side, and you, Father Victor, as you're coming up, she was reaching out for you, and then she stood up and looked behind her, and then looked like she was about to step into the pit with you, the hole with you, and then she just kind of stopped. Kitten kind of bites her in the leg, and she like sort of jumps up and comes back to, and all you hear is such a disappointment. Back,
you see probably Britta, like, clench her jaw and just sort of, like, shiver.
And back to 2 to Vendela, you managed to write this rune into your thing. I would ask you at this point, Vendela, to make me a physique plus force roll, because the smoke is starting to waft sort of all over you.
Okay.
However, because you have the rune now, you will get a +2 bonus to make that roll to protect yourself from the effects of the fire.
That's 2 successes.
All right, awesome. So you kind of, see the smoke and it starts, but then you feel like the smoke sort of just wafts over you, and the fire seems to feel a bit less hot than it was a minute before. You look up and you see Britta just sort of standing on the side of the hole and just kind of trying to shake something off, and you can see that Father Victor is trying to come up the side of the roll. You were helping Rudolph, so I will actually swap your action with Father Victor, Rudolph, since you were helping him. You will go at 3 then, Father Victor. I will also ask you to make me a physique plus force roll to resist the fire, but you do get the +2, so you had the -2 for the penalty to your for your physical conditions. You get a +2 because of Vendella's rune, and you can spend the advantage that you have also if you want.
2 successes.
All right, so same thing again. You managed to, this time you've learned your lesson. You don't inhale when you see the smoke, and you manage to crawl yourself out of there, and you can see Britta just sort of staying there, and she will, what will she do at 4? She will start by making a physique plus force roll.
Yeah, I guess
with a
she
+2
will.
bonus.
With a +2 bonus.
For Vendella's rune.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I better get something on this. Okay, I got 1. That's fine.
Awesome. Same thing. The flames seem to be a bit less hot and less threatening, and then the smoke doesn't seem to affect you as much. What would you like to do? You see that Father Victor's kind of crawling out of the hole, and Rudolph is coming up right behind him. The ladder is burning pretty badly at this point.
Okay. And is Thorstein still?
You don't see it.
Okay. All right. I'll pull Father Victor up the rest of the way. See if I can position myself to help Rudolph up too.
All right. So Rudolph, go ahead and give me a physique plus agility if you're still climbing, and you can add. Actually, first physique plus force +2 for to resist the effects of the fire and the smoke. So we'll start with that. You don't have any wounds, right? Rudolph?
No, I don't have any ones. Sorry, they were asking.
No, sorry. Physique and
Victor.
force roll. Sorry, yeah, I might have said
Physique
Father Victor.
and
I might have said
force.
Father Rudolph, actually.
Would you be wrong?
It wouldn't be wrong, exactly.
Whoa!
2 successes.
All right, excellent. You will proceed to climb out, so go ahead and give me a physique plus agility. You can add 2 dice as Britta will be helping you.
One success that time.
All right, so that's good enough. Britta reaches down, grabs your hand, starts hauling you up. Give me, if you would, an empathy roll. Just straight up empathy for me, would you please?
Nothing.
All right. As she pulls you up, you see standing behind her this figure of this gaunt woman with these threadbare clothes on her face, the black hair sort of just hanging down her face, and she is on fire. Her clothes are on fire, and she's burning. And as Britta pulls you up, you see that just right there standing behind her.
Does she look familiar?
She looks very familiar.
Okay, great.
Tell me, what do you do?
Oh God. Probably on sheer instinct, he'd pull the rifle off of his back and try to shoot her.
Britta, Father Victor, you see Rudolph just reacting to something that apparently only he can see, and he draws the gun off his back, and he takes a shot, or he looks like he's about to shoot sort of into the dark. Do either into empty space. Either you want to do anything, or
Yes, I would to try to stop him.
100%.
I would like to try to get his attention.
all right. So go ahead and give me an empathy plus manipulation roll, Father Victor. And
I would
what are you
love
doing,
to.
Britta?
I got my hands on him, right?
Yeah.
Can I try to get him to not can I just get wrestle the rifle out of his hands or something?
Absolutely. Give me a physique plus close combat.
Yeah.
What did you get, Victor?
I got 3 6s.
All right. So
Devil's luck for the trees.
The number of the beast.
you, as you are about to speak to him, you hear a voice in your head, Father Victor, that says, you know, every man has to face his own demons, and until he is allowed to do that for himself, he'll never be free. I really think that his crime was atrocious. What he did was very atrocious, and I just don't know if you have it in you to forgive him or to offer him any sort of forgiveness for what he's done. It is truly, truly atrocious. Do you really want to help this man?
And there is the briefest moment when Victor pauses and then says, yes, and steps in front of Rudolph and says, Rudolph, you don't need to do this. I forgive you.
We've lost Mandela. Rudolph, that's all you hear really is as you're just kind of tunnel visioning and seeing this thing in front of you, and you pull this gun off your back, and you find it difficult to move suddenly, as if like some force is constricting you, and it's probably some sort of spell or power that she's using. You remember when you would be in bed and she would appear at the foot of your bed, you'd be immobile, you wouldn't be able to move, you wouldn't be able to get out and to defend yourself. So that's probably what's happening as you kind of feel restrained. You kind of fight through that, but then all you hear coming from her in her voice is, I forgive you. And then a moment later, Father Victor's standing in front of you, and Britta's holding you kind of like in a headlock, and she's got the gun in one hand.
I did also get a success, just so we're very because I want that gun for sure.
And that little girl is strong.
The game.
I think also like Britta will probably see that and just and kind of like lean in and be like, we all have voices in our head.
Okay. Wow, so much. So obviously he's going to raise the rifle away from Victor, pointing at the ceiling, and I think he's going to. You'll probably see that he is a little misty-eyed, that there's like water gathering at the corners of his eyes, but he is going to look around and he's going to say, "Why are we standing around?"
And you see the three of them, they look like they're hugging maybe or something, or having like some sort of discussion, like really close in, very quiet, very chill.
Not a
So chill. It's so chill. There's like so many guns in this moment and it's very chill.
And everything's on fire.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine. He's fully weeping. Like, you know.
From the smoke. It's from the smoke.
not fully weeping.
You're fully weeping.
No.
So as you're all fully weeping, Vandella, you see the door, the main door to the church that was next to you, sort of breaks open, and you see you're there, and he's like, Vandella, Barrett, come on, and he's opened the door, and you can see there's going to be a backdraft, so you kind of want to get out of there. On the other side of the hole where you are, you hear a couple of thunks as an axe or something is breaking through one of the frames of the windows, and then the thing shatters, and the window frame comes down, and you see Carla there, and she's like, "What are you waiting for? Get out of there!" And she extends.
That's what I said. I said it first.
And so all of you manage to evacuate the church as the people of the village are there, and they got like a couple of pumps with water, and they're sort of throwing it on there. And very slowly you see this cloud that has started to form a little bit further up, that's kind of moving slow, and you can see this rain, this curtain of rain that is kind of moving across the area, and it seems to be kind of centered on the church as it moves. And you feel, Vandella, the power of the rune that you've inscribed at work, and fairly quickly with between that and the people of the village and sort of everybody else sort of helping out. The fire is put out, but when it does, you can see that the church is basically just an ashen skeleton of sort of what it used to be. The rock is split in places, and what little had been built of the bell tower has kind of collapsed on itself, and the scaffolding is all burnt around it, and there's just ash and smoke sort of flying on the air, and a lot of you are all around one of the big trees that's near there, and people are sort of checking you up, and they've brought out some blankets, and they've got some water and whatnot. What would you like to do?
Catch our breaths.
Yeah.
Take a minute.
Yeah.
A nice deep exhale for the group.
Yeah, Vendela is passing water to Victor and Rudolph and
I
Britta.
think we bought that alcohol, right? So Britta's probably gonna take a swig.
It didn't say we needed the whole bottle, so
Yeah, she'll take a swig. She'll pass it to Kitten. Kitten will take a little tiny swig.
a drunk full mink, amazing.
And then she'll
The
hand
secret
it.
weapon.
And then she'll probably hand it to Father Victor.
Victor will definitely take a drink and then hand it to Rudolph.
Rudolph's definitely going to take a drink. He might finish it.
Don't be
In
rude.
one fell swoop.
Yep.
And
Could I try to use my new herbalist talent to try to heal some of Victor's injuries? Because I think he's the only one.
yeah,
right
well,
now?
one thing that Victor can do also is interact with his memento to heal one condition.
Oh.
So, if you want to tell us a little bit about that, Victor, you can certainly do that.
Yes, Victor takes out an item that you really wouldn't expect a man of the cloth to be holding. It appears to be a dice that is made out of bone, and he just holds it in his hands. Everybody's judging me for the bones.
Look, my
Listen.
guy. Like,
Listen. Yes, the brand is Bones. It's fine. And he looks at it with a measure of sadness and regret, but also gratitude for the fact that he is still alive and that the others are alive as well.
And so as you do
Because
that,
he
you-
saw Britta nearly jump, and then he saw what happened with Rudolph, so he is very relieved that all four of them made it out of this.
And in interacting with your mentor, you will be able to cure one of your conditions. And yes, if you want to help out Vendela, you can make an herbalism roll. So we'll say it's, I don't know what the roll is.
Yeah, it is. It's medicine without access to medicine supplies.
Go for it.
Medical supplies.
Okay.
Yes.
So precision plus medicine.
Sweet. It's just one.
That's good. That's all you need.
Yeah.
So you will be a little stiff and still a little singed and be coughing a little bit for a little while, Father Victor, but you will otherwise be fine. While this is going on, Carla will come over to you, Britta, and go, "Are you okay? Are you okay?
Yeah. So-
Is Kitten okay?" And she,
Kitten absolutely
yeah.
skirt right onto her shoulder. Honestly, Kitten is on
Oh.
Carla.
Oh, you stink now.
Oh, sorry, Kitten,
it's okay.
come back,
It's
come
all right.
back. And I think Britta will like try to get her back without actually making physical contact with Carla, but she's gonna probably fail and like touch her a little bit, and then just.
I saw you break that door down to get into the church. That was rather impressive for.
Yeah. Yeah, you saw that? Cool. Yeah. Thanks. I've just been like working out or something.
I'm sure your friends are glad that you did manage to get in there. That was very brave what you did.
Thanks.
You know, most people run away from the fire, and you ran right in there. These people must mean a lot to you.
Yeah, I mean, everything right now. Thank you for, your.
No, absolutely, for sure. When we saw you going in there, we immediately knew that we had to get you out of there. It was burning down. Honestly, I had no clue why you were going in, but now I realized that your friends were in there also.
Yeah.
I guess we're going to need more than new pews now, huh?
You'll be in business for quite some time, I imagine. Hey, if you need some help, I can do more than just break down doors.
Are you handy?
You can teach me.
And on that note,
Fade to
you okay,
black,
Ms. Vendela?
Jesus.
Oh, yes, I'm fine. It was
Fade to
excellent
black
timing.
before the Furbies come out.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Are you okay, Ms. Vendela? Says you're helping out.
Yes.
Father.
Yes, thank you. Your timing was impeccable. That was...
It was the whole village. Everyone saw this thing go up. I was just glad you were not in it until you ran in it.
The priest and Mr. Rudolph were still in there, and
I was in there too, yells Barrett.
And Barrett, yes. They were still in there, and I hadn't seen them come out, and it just kind of... Britta and I just went on instinct, which may be not the wisest decision, but no one died.
Well, that was very brave in any case, and I saw that you dropped this on the way in. I thought you might need it, so he hands you the milk.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. It's definitely good
thirsty,
for the smoke. Were you? A little bit. We're going to give it to the church, but, well, I guess we'll just share it now.
I'm glad you're okay. I absolutely would have hated for you to get injured because I asked you to come here.
It would not have been your fault if I was injured, so...
Well...
I appreciate the sentiment, but please don't put blame on yourself when it's not needed.
All right, I'll try, but no promises.
Fair enough.
And while that's going on, Rudolph, you're seeing Father Victor being tended to and then playing with his little bone dice, and then something's going on with Carla and Britta, but you're really not sure what that's all about.
Just cabinet making.
Let those crazy kids sort it out. I would like to.
I was just going to say that your Raffen sort of swoops down and lands down next to you and gives you a look like.
Don't look at me like that, you bird. I would like to look around for any evidence of Thorstein. Like if I could track him or something, that would be great.
All right. Well, let us give that a shot then.
And if he counts as my prey, my bloodhound talent.
I absolutely believe that he would be it, because at this point I think you're pretty pissed off.
I'm very pissed off.
Okay, so great. Yeah, so you'll get a +2 to your vigilance. I'll say the bird is helping you also, so you can get an extra die from Raffen. Might as well make him useful.
A lot of dice. Okay. Yeah, 3 6s. 4 6s. I got 4 6s.
So as you're kind of looking around trying to find tracks of him, you look up and you see him. He is still a bit further down the road, standing. There's like a little gas lamplight there's one gas lamplight in the entire village, and it's like right in the middle in front of where the inn is, and you see him and he tips his hat to you. And then he walks away.
Is he out of range?
Yeah, but you could follow him fairly easily.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think Rudolph will look at Victor and say, Thorstein, and then start trying to follow him, basically.
Are you saying that loud enough so that everybody can hear it?
Potentially, yeah. I don't know that he would think to tell Britta and Vendela, but Victor probably would. Is my thought, Will's thought, not Rudolph's thought.
Yeah, I mean, Victor like very visibly goes to follow Rudolph and like looks back to see if Britta and Vendela are following.
And Britta, as Carla is saying, well, the thing about woodwork is you need to have very strong hands. You see over her shoulder, you see Rudolph walking away and Father Victor kind of looking back towards you.
Yeah. I'll say, I would really like to continue this conversation. Maybe I do have to follow them. So I can find you. It's threatening.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Well, you know, I'll yes.
Okay. Just right past her.
And Vendela, as you're talking with Yuri, will be like, I think your friends are up to something.
Oh, thank you. I will be right back.
I'm coming with.
Are you sure?
Yes, this was, if anything happened to you, I asked you to come here, and I know you told me not to worry and not to take it on my shoulders, but...
I did, yes.
I do. So, one moment he'll go over and he'll grab his axe, and he'll be like, I'm coming with.
Fair enough.
So...
Yours helping! Just kind of, as she catches up to them.
The priests interrupt the women woodworking. Yes, exactly. You know, damn priests always interrupting the women woodworking. You will follow Thorstein, and you kind of lose his track once in a while, but then you pick it up again, and you kind of start getting the feeling that it's kind of voluntary. Like he's toying with you, like he's showing you he could disappear if he wants. But then sort of letting you follow him again.
Is anyone filling us in on what happened and what's happening right now?
As you're walking, please do take some time to...
Where are we going?
Rudolph is going to be a little bit ahead of everybody, I think, because he does not like everybody making noise.
I think probably Britta's like trying to be off to the side, like being a little more sneaky, trying to follow him in a way that's like maybe stealthful. Guys, I really want to stealth.
So they're off stealthing, but Father Victor is not much of a stealther. So if you want Vendela, you can catch up to Father Victor and exchange a few words.
Yeah. Just be like, Father, what happened? And where are we going?
Apparently we are tracking Thorstein because he set the church on fire. And I'm not quite sure what Rudolph thinks we are going to do when we find him, but I am okay with finding out the answer.
Oh, I'm pretty sure the answer is shoot him. And that's Rudolph's specialty, but, so you were investigating the basement and then he just showed up and set it on fire? He didn't do some grand dramatic monologue?
I don't know if I would call it a grand dramatic monologue. Maybe that's what's coming. Who knows?
Well, I've read a lot of books, so I just assumed.
But he did make it clear that what I hadn't mentioned before is when I encountered him on the train, he, well, not then, but later on, he gave me money, ostensibly to build the church. And
that he burned.
Yes, because what we found under the floor was something he wanted to remain hidden.
What was it?
Rudolph had said it was a substance like lye, but there was something wrong about it.
Interesting.
If you want, give me a learning check, Vendela.
Yeah.
Because you did see the runes that were down into the...
I did.
That's right.
Sorry, Sid. Oh, thank God. Yeah, I rolled 5 ones, but then I got 1 6.
Nice.
Oh my God, too many ones. What the heck?
Yeah, I put those dice in dice jail. You recall now seeing in on the ground painted underneath where all those barrels and stuff were. There was a rune that first you couldn't make out what the rune was, but now you realize it was 2 different runes, and you're reminded of when you saw the Isa rune and how when you added another rune to it, it changed it from being something that was negative, damaging, to something that was protective when you added the elk rune to it. And now that you kind of think about that, you realize it was 2 runes, and the first one that you saw was the Jera rune, the one that was sort of like this was the Jera rune, which means harvest, and the other one that was next to it, which was sort of like this, is the a rune that means ulcer or disease.
From what I saw in the basement, there were 2 runes scrawled down there, and my studies in runes, it was harvest and disease. So I'm curious, you had mentioned the crops hadn't been doing well until that sacrifice?
Apparently. I mean, I have not been here as long as others.
So, do you think what could have been in the basement was what was making the crops fail?
I think it's certainly a valid hypothesis.
And he gave you the money to build up the church because it was built over the basement of the old sawmill, and then it wouldn't be found.
Yes.
Oh boy.
And you said he was a family friend. I feel like we're still
He's
going
not-
to need to
he's
unpack
not-
that.
Not a... Look, I didn't have much interaction with him. From what I recall, my father had said, call him Uncle Thorstein. He's not my uncle. He was supposedly helping try to track down where my mother went. I only saw him a handful of times, and then he never came back. So I assume that's because he had no luck.
Well, I mean, it goes without saying, but if he offers you any information or a gift,
No,
I would not take it.
I have no intention of doing so. Thank you for the advice.
You might also remember, Father Victor, the discussion you had when you were being interrogated, that someone was interested in information about Vendela.
And Father Victor does have that come to his mind, and then says, I don't know what all of this means or how these pieces intersect, but there is someone out there who very much wants information about you. And that does not seem to bode well with the other pieces that we have.
Particularly, no. But I suppose I'll deal with that whenever it decides to rear its ugly head. Guess we'll see if part of that is tonight.
And so as you move further afield, speaking of field, you will arrive eventually at a field that is fallow.
Hmm.
At the center of this field, there is a mound of earth, and around that mound of earth, even though the field is fallow, there are all these roots and branches and little flowers that are growing, and even like in a patch that sort of grows out around this mound of earth. You can see greeneries already sort of coming out of the ground, like fresh sprouts, and so on and so forth. And any of you are kind of, agriculturally minded will recognize that these are barley. This is barley that is starting to grow in this field. As you approach it, Britta and Rudolph arriving first, sort of stealthing your way in, you will notice a strange mist that has sort of moved in over the entire area. And the second you kind of approach the field, you sense that something is wrong, something supernatural is sort of happening here. And as you get closer, you can see that the mists are sort of swirling around where this mound of earth is at the center of the field. You don't see your friend Thorstein anywhere, but you do see his tracks that go into the field and then stop like maybe 15-20 feet away from the mound, and then stop.
Is it possible to actually like sort of sink back into the mists and try to make a stealth check to
Yeah, absolutely, totally.
disappear?
Totally.
Cool.
Both of you can do that.
Mhm.
Okay. Rolled 9 dice. I got 1 success.
Hmm. I got
That's
2.
good enough. You have 2, all right. So you you will fade into the mist. Victor, Yor, and Vendela arriving sort of behind you. Yor will be like, I think we lost your friends somewhere along the way. I don't see him. I don't see the other guy either.
If you are muted.
Well, one is a hunter, so Victor, correct me if I'm wrong. If he's a good hunter, he's going to make himself scarce.
That is exactly what I was thinking.
Oh, what should we do? Yor's got his axe out, and he's all like...
I'm assuming I can see the mound.
Yeah, you can see the mound now. You can see all that. You can see the sort of mist swirling around it.
He led us to the residence of the Vaesen. Okay. Britt and I know how to do the ritual to send it on its way, so perhaps we should also be trying to be a little stealthy. This feels a little like a trap.
You can
That
go ahead and
makes
roll
sense.
some stealth if you want.
Two.
And on top of that, would all of you, on top of that, give me a logic and vigilance roll.
I didn't get
Nothing.
any.
No.
Nope.
Wow.
Two for
Okay.
two for Rudolph.
All right,
Thank
Rudolph,
God.
as you
Rudolph saves the party.
as you fade into the shadows, you can see that near where the mound is, there is something red and wet and glistening that has kind of been thrown up in front of the mound. And as you look, you see the earth on the mound start to sort of roll down at the top, and suddenly out of the mound springs forth this scythe that just explodes through the mound of earth, and you see this black scythe that just sort of glimmers a little bit in the moonlight as it's sort of held aloft, and then a hand comes out, and then the earth starts to just flow off on the side as this figure with this wide-brimmed hat and this long coat sort of starts climbing out of there, carrying this scythe in its hands. And I will just show you the
Awesome.
thing here. And where is it?
I see it.
As this
Is
sort
that
of...
is that fine too, JD? Is that one fine?
That is so fine. That is so fine.
As this
This is fine.
kind of trollish goblinoid-looking creature that's about maybe 6'5", 6'6", but very kind of gangly, kind of comes up. It's wearing this old sort of farmer's leather apron. It's got on its back this barrel that's filled with grain, and as it stands up with the sides and sort of like claws its way out of the hole, it kind of straightens up and smells around, and then grabs the scythe and starts sniffing around. Where are you, my pretties? It's time to wet the field with the blood of those who dare interfere. As he starts to slowly kind of crawl around
No.
the field.
Oh,
No, just no.
that's
Just no.
worse.
Just
Yeah,
no.
This is
worse.
fine. This is so
Lying.
It's not.
Lying is a
That's
sin,
bad
Father.
enough.
It's not fine.
All right, so we had to lure it with the milk. Do we still need to do?
No, you figure it's probably pretty lured.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
So we need to
So-
surround it with barley stalks. So we have to pick them from.
Well,
It's-
no, the job's kind of
Oh.
done for you. There's already sprouts of barley that are grown kind of around.
We just need to set
as
them on
well.
fire and
Yeah.
do the ritual.
That's right.
Great. Great. Great.
Well,
great,
while
great.
that's going on, I took a talent called Marksman,
Mhm.
which means that I get a bonus if I am successfully ambushing my prey.
Perfect.
So I would like to ambush the Barley King if I can.
You can
Can-
certainly do that.
I also have. So I've got the backstabber, so I can use stealth when attacking from an ambush. Can Rudolph and I like make some kind of eye contact across the mist and attempt to ambush at the same time?
Absolutely. So what I will do is this. I will draw initiative, but then I'll get each of you to do your ambush first, and then we'll go into the initiative. All right?
Sweet.
That cool?
That sounds
All right.
great.
So Victor gets a 6, 4 for Rudolph, 3 for Britta, 1 for Vendela, and 8 and 2 for the Barley King.
Where's he get to?
Wait a second.
Is one of those for your?
That's not fine.
yeah, you are,
that's,
eh?
that's
Yeah,
not
where's
fine.
your?
What does he do? It's because he's so big and he's
Yeah.
crawling.
Oh, your goes at 10. He's not happy with that.
Oh, great.
All right, but I will let the two of you get your quips in. So we'll say that you're kind of ambushed out here at the bottom here. I can't see you on the map on the screen. We'll put you there, and we'll say that
Yeah.
you, Britta, were sort of circling around the back here. I'll put you around here where the bales of hay are.
Perfect. Yes.
And and the rest of them are coming up the pathway here. So you're all here. I guess I could make you all a little bit bigger, so we'll see. It's not gonna. I'll embiggen you as you drink the potion of giant strength and
The milk.
the milk,
Yeah, we're chugging the rest of the
Chugging
milk
milk.
for sure.
chugging mother's milk.
Strong bones.
I was gonna suggest we use the milk as a chaser after we finished all the alcohol.
Oh.
Like pour sugar into it and then use.
Oh yeah, like a cement mixer. Absolutely.
New drink for the town.
Britta's never heard of it, but she is fully inventing terrible drinks.
All right, so let's do that then. I will allow you guys to take your ambush shot. So I'm assuming the gunshot will probably come first.
Probably. Okay. Only 2 successes.
Alrighty.
Rolled 10 dice.
Do you want to push your roll?
Oh, right. That's the thing we can do. Remind me how that works.
So if you push your roll, you get to re-roll everything that's a failure, but you take a condition for the stat that is tied to what you're doing.
Yeah, that definitely seems worth it.
So go ahead. Let's go get my cheat sheet.
2 more successes.
Ooh.
Nice. That's pretty excellent.
Yeah.
So actually, all right, I'll let you take a shot, then we'll do the other thing. All right. Okay. So do you want to do stunts or do you want to just do extra damage? So if you look at the stunts table, so first of all, hold on, he gets a chance to resist some of that. Okay, so he resists 2 of it. So you have 2 left. So you have 1 to hit and do 1 damage, and then you can do a stunt. If you look at the extra successes tab, ranged combat, with a stunt you can increase your damage by 1. You can outmaneuver your enemy, which means exchange initiative cards. You can stress your enemy, which causes a mental condition. You can push him into another zone or specific part of the zone you're in, or you can make him drop a weapon or item.
I think, okay, maybe I'll do 1 damage and then make him drop the sight.
All right, so tell us how that works out with your shot.
Yeah, I think that Rudolph is going to line up his shot very carefully. He is a hunter. He has done this very often. Not this specifically, not shoot a weird goblin man with a scythe, but he is very used to hitting his mark. So I think he is going to very specifically aim for the hand that is holding the scythe and is basically going to shoot the Barley King straight through that hand and force him to drop the scythe in the process.
And you do in his hand, so the bullet hits the hand, you can hear the crack and you can see what passes for blood, I guess, sort of fly off, and the scythe goes like, ah! As the scythe goes skittering it off a little bit. And Britta.
So I got 1 success to ambush him. What I was hoping is that I could just sort of like tackle him and hold him down.
Okay. So, first of all, thank you, Old Word Charm, for the raid. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. We are here. What happens here is that we are playing some Vaesen, and the players have just summoned the Barley King, and they are attempting to use a ritual to banish him away. Go away, Barley King. We are raising money for No Kid Hungry. So check that out. That will be popping in the chat. But so you had 1 success. So do you wish to push?
Yep. Yeah.
All right. So you get to reroll all your failures.
Okay, didn't get anything.
All right. So you do take a condition. You have to pick one of the physical conditions in your case, since you were attempting to do a physical activity.
Sure. I imagine if I'm trying to maybe wounded, or maybe battered, right?
Okay.
If I throw my body into this goblin king.
So what happens is this: you kind of throw yourself at him, and as he's lamenting, and he turns on, he sees you coming, and with his other hand, he just kind of bats you down. So just as you're coming in, his hand grabs it, hits in the back of the head, and you kind of fall to the ground. And he reaches down and he picks you up, and he lifts you up. And now I would like everyone to make a fear check, please, as whenever you encounter Vaesen, you have to make a fear check. So you roll either your logic or empathy, straight up, whichever one you want. And
I see.
you may have some power that gives you bonuses. Now the thing is this: Britta, you won't get this bonus because you're off alone, but everybody else, actually, Britta, I will say the kitten's with you, so you get 1 extra dice
Oh,
for
sweet.
kitten being with you. The rest of the group, since you are with friends, you get 1 extra dice per other person that's there, so you'll get an extra 3 dice to bolster you as you make this fear check. So it's either your empathy or your logic straight up, and then 1 extra dice for KT and 3 extra dice for the other 3.
I got 2 successes.
Mhm.
2.
2.
All right.
Fight me, Vaesen. Fight me.
Also 2.
Team
All right.
twos.
And you need it too, so it's a pretty scary Vaesen. So you feel for a moment this, especially when he turns around and he just batters Britta down. You feel a moment this fear that just sort of grabs hold of your heart, but right away you kind of steel yourself against it, and you look as he's reaching down and he's picking up Britta, and he's going to sort of hold her aloft. So let's go now to the initiative. The first one is Vendela at 1.
So the first part of the ritual was you have to set the barley on fire and then recite.
Yeah,
the
because you have to set
incantation?
the barley on fire so that he can't find this mound again because of the smoke.
Gotcha. I'm gonna focus on doing that.
And how are you going to do that?
I would like to get. Oh God. So he's right in front of his mound?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Is there a way I can stealth around behind?
Well, you don't
him?
need to stealth. He's kind of busy beating
Oh,
up on
okay.
Britta right now, so you could come around where the scarecrow is, sort of deal.
Yeah. So like around there.
Yeah, we do have a giveaway. We're giving away a PDF, digital copy of the Vaesen core rulebook. If you want to get in on the action, ! Drawing in the chat, and we will give that away at the end of the stream. Giveaway sponsored by Free League Publishing. All right. So you'll manage to get around there. So I'll say you can move up to there. How do you want to try to set fire to this stuff?
That's a great question. What do I have gear-wise? Oh, yeah. Tinderbox would have been great. I don't have that on my list. Wonderful.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what I'll do. Looks like you. I will allow you to make a learning check.
Yay. I would love that.
Okay? Give me a learning check. Start with that.
Yeah. 2.
2. Pretty good, pretty good. I will say that as you're trying to find a way to set fire to this thing, you will recall from your book, your awesome book of runes, there is a rune called Kanaz, which represents a torch. And you briefly wonder if perhaps that might help. You've never tried drawing it before, but you wonder if perhaps that would help you.
Yeah. All right, then.
Magical.
Yeah. Alrighty. So I'm going to use my wild branch.
Wild branch is like, the branch of your bank, but wilder.
Yeah. So just 1.
So that's good enough. So you quickly draw your branch out, and you draw it into the cracked, dry earth that's surrounding the mountain there where the birch is. And as you draw it, you can see the rune itself sort of lights up into flame, and this light, this glow starts to emanate from it, and some of the sparks are flying off and catching off on the barley that's around. Now, the downside to that is that the glow of this torch that you've lit up there now has attracted the eye of the Barley King, and he turns a baleful glare on you as he sees what you're doing, and he says exactly that. He says, "What are you doing? No!" And at 2, because he goes at 2, he drops Britta to the ground and comes up to you and is going to attempt to grab you. You have no more action, so unfortunately you cannot
No.
dodge.
Awesome.
So he will reach down and grab you by the scruff of the neck and pull you up, and you feel his nails digging into your back as he pulls you up, and you take one physical condition from it as he picks you up. He's like, "What are you doing?" He just grabs you and he just throws you, and you go flying off, and thankfully you land right there in the bales of hay, so you don't take any more damage, but you kind of stumble down into the ground, and the bale of hay kind of falls on top of you. But you can see that the fire is starting to spread over where the barley is. You do have one physical condition from having been grabbed thusly by him. So that was him at 2. At 3 will be Britta. You have found yourself being just sort of unceremoniously dropped on your tuchus on the ground, and the barley around you is starting to catch fire, and the Barley King seems to be kind of very upset by what's going on.
Sure. Me too. I would also be upset if my barley were being burned. Sorry, man. 100%. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to... all right. I would like to take out my... Okay, you tell me if this is weird. I want to take out my hurricane lamp. Does it have oil in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so can I just throw it onto the ground and try to shatter it in the barley area to help the fire spread?
Absolutely. Give me an agility roll just to make sure that you don't set yourself on fire.
Okay. I mean, all right. Kitten! Oh, no, Kitten's fine. Are you kidding
Just hurl
me?
Kitten away.
Oh, no, I just accidentally rolled 66. Ooh,
That's
2 successes.
that's some skill. You got 2 successes out of 56?
No, I re-rolled it.
All right.
I got 2 successes.
So you managed to sort of break it in there and then kind of extricate yourself. Which direction do you want to run off?
I would like to run, I think, down like south. South, and then try to like continue to pull his attention towards me by saying, like, "You're not welcome in this town anymore." Something very cool like that. Insert cool line here.
And as you say that, he's looking at the flames sort of, and he kind of understands what he's trying to kind of starting to back away kind of from the flames and the smoke. He's like, "Not welcome. They called me here. Why would they call me here if I was not welcomed?"
Yikes.
At 3, that was Britt. At 4 would be Rudolph.
I would like to shoot it again, I think.
Go for it.
Yeah, okay. So I don't get marksman this time, but that's fine. Only one success that time.
All right, so your bullet hits him, but it doesn't seem to penetrate his this leather apron that he's sort of got on him. But he kind of stumbles, and then at 6 will be Father Victor.
Okay, so I think what Father Victor is going to do is he briefly lost sight of Rudolph. He's seen the muzzle flash twice now. And so he is going to move over to Rudolph, make it clear that it's him so he doesn't get shot, and then put a hand over Rudolph's on the gun and say, "I know you no longer believe, but I still do. And I trust you. Shoot true. And I am going to use blessing on Rudolph, not the gun."
Nice.
So that is a +2 to your test of choice.
How does Rudolph feel about this?
I mean, he didn't talk about God, so pretty okay. Rudolph will happily take the blessing of a friend.
And as you take his blessing, you hear him say, "God's not the only one working in here," but his lips don't move.
Okay. Well, that feels weird, but okay.
I'm sure it's fine.
I'm sure it's
I'm
fine.
sure
It's all fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's always fine.
At 8, the Barley King goes again, and he's like, "What are you doing? Why are you doing this?" And he sort of lurches around. And he goes over and he finds his scythe and he picks it up. He's like, "These people will starve without me. You should know what that feels like." I would like everyone to roll. Everyone who can hear him. And you can add your magic to that roll, Vendela.
Sweet. So is it a fear check or?
No, it's not a fear check. Actually, you don't get to roll anything. You don't see whether a creature succeeds with an enchantment, they succeed automatically. Player character is affected by an enchantment. Okay, yeah. So, all right. So, I will give, however, Vendela a roll. So, Vendela, you get to roll your magic.
Just straight magic?
Yeah.
Oh.
And your branch and whatever you got. Will, you do have dice that protect you against magical effects, right? So you can roll that number of dice.
Just the bonus?
No, your knife gives you protection from magical effects, right?
Yes.
So you can roll that, and then you can add the blessing if you want. If you want to use it now, it's up to you.
Oh, I don't want to use the blessing.
Okay, so you don't have to. You can roll just the dice from the knife.
Okay. Okay, cool.
I got 1.
Okay.
I also got 1.
All right. So Stephanie and Will, you feel something sort of wash over you, but you kind of feel it. You naturally resist it. Imagine, Britta and Father Victor, what it would feel like if you hadn't eaten in a week, 2 weeks. This just intense, gnawing void inside of you, that feeling of weakness, that feeling of being lightheaded, just that overall kind of loss of energy that you're feeling. You're feeling that right now. You feel that deep, 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 deep hunger that's just sort of grabbing you right into your stomach and just sort of squeezing it and kind of tying it into a knot. I would like you to do a fear check again, both of you, please. Remember, if you have a physical wound or if you have a condition, that you lose a dice. Actually, you won't because it's a fear check and it's a physical condition that you've got, so don't worry about it.
I got 2 again.
I got 2 as well.
All right, so you feel fear sort of come over you as you feel like you're about to die. You feel like you're going to starve to death. But again, you kind of manage to sort of strengthen yourself against that. And he's like, "This is what they will feel. This is what they've called me here. Why would you do this?" And that thing kind of just gnaws at you, but slowly starts to dissipate as it moves on. At 10, yours like, "What's going on? I can't see anything." And you realize he can't see the Vaesen, right? Because he's not gifted. So he's like, kind of panicking, and he sees that you two are kind of hanging out, and he's going to sort of try to come around and help Vendela. He's like, Miss Vendela, and he'll come up to you. He's like, I'm sorry, I can't see anything. Is there something here?
Yes, there's something tall here. He lives in the mound. I need to banish him. But I point to where he's standing. It's like he's in that area. He has a scythe. Be careful.
All right. How can I help?
It's a great question. I can't see him. I think how we can help.
How about I stand here next to you, so if he comes at you again, at least I can interpose myself. Just stand here behind me, and he kind of just stands in front of you with
You're
his
very kind, but I will let you know when he starts moving in our direction.
Very well. Back to 1 then would be Vendela.
So before she does the ritual, she kind of straightens up, very bruised, and it's just like, you asked why we'd banish you? If you were summoned here with the meat of a dead man, you were not summoned by the village. You were summoned to be Thorstein's pawn. We're just correcting a mistake.
I do not need such sacrifice. I require only the sweet things. It is not my fault that they give this to me. I came because no one else would come. None of the others would come. They've driven them away with their machinery and their furnaces. And he's pointing over at where Locksmiller is. They've driven all of us away. I only came because that call was powerful, but I don't need it. I can help these people. I only require milk. I only require a little sweet bit once in a while.
Well, he's still attacking us, so she's gonna continue with.
Gross.
He hasn't attacked anyone. He's got his scythe. He hasn't attacked anyone. I'm just saying.
So gross. Who's got the milk?
We don't. I don't think we need the milk. Oh,
I don't know, but
So what do
we
you
got
do?
Sugar and milk.
Oh,
Crippled by indecision, Vendela doesn't do anything right now.
Mhm.
He stomps about, moving. He's got his scythe. He's looking at his mount. He turns around. He sees Father Victor and Rudolph there, and he says, "You are from here. I recognize you. The people will starve without me. I am here to help. I did not ask to be brought here the way I was, but I can help. Stop what you're doing." And he's kind of holding his scythe, but he's got his bloodied hand and 3 Britta.
I would like to think that Britta was the one tasked with carrying the milk and the sugar.
Okay, because
Because
she's so sweet.
because I got these massive guns.
yeah, that's true.
Kitten's drunk half the milk.
Kitten did fully drink half the milk, so I think Britta will grab them from her pockets. She's got huge pockets. Just grab out like the milk jug and like a thing of sugar and be like, "Is this what you want?"
And he kind of takes a step back and he says, "That is what I crave, yes. That is all I ask in return for bountiful harvest."
Have you killed anybody?
How would I do such a thing?
I don't know.
It is not me who killed. I was brought here by that sacrifice. It was the only thing that was strong enough to bring me here. I did not kill anyone. That is not what I do. This scythe is life-giving. It cuts the stalk, yes, but only to provide cereal and bread, food for those who need it, food for those who have empty stomachs. It is important, the scythe. You must cut it down. You must cut the wheat down. You must cut the barley down. You must cut the corn down. It is part of the process. It is part of nature. But that is what this scythe does. I do not kill. I provide.
I think Britta will just like set the milk and the sugar down and kind of step away a little bit.
And now, the moment of truth. Will at 4.
What? So yeah, Rudolph is going to say, having heard all this, Rudolph is going to keep the gun trained on the Barley King and say, "Then who brought you here?"
How would I know? I only received the call once the offerings had been made. I do not know who put them there.
Rudolph is out of his depth, and I think he's going to look at Vendela for some sign of whether or not he should shoot this thing.
Vendela's kind of gonna shake her head to not shoot because she's just like, Thorstein led us here.
Maybe Thorstein wanted us to.
I'm wondering
that's
if,
exactly what
if he wanted us to banish him. Because he was poisoning the crops. But why would he summon it?
Maybe it was somebody else who did the summoning.
Mm-hmm.
The Barley King stares at Victor. You understand? Life springs forth, and then death must come. But in the spring, life springs forth again and brings succor to those in need. You understand this. You understand this.
So confusing. Keeps talking about life and death.
The two are inseparable. What dies feeds the earth, and what grows from that feeds that which lives, which then dies to feed the earth. I play only my part in it. I only bring down the crops. You hunt me. You bring only death. If I die, this land, and he bends down and he picks up the soil, and you can see it's really dry and kind of just, this land will never recover that, and he points towards Loch Spindler. That is your true enemy.
Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah, I think we all share a knowing look. Like, absolutely, that's our true enemy.
I do not know who brought me here, and it is not for me to find out. But I have no intentions of hurting anyone, and I have not hurt anyone. Stolen some sweets, perhaps. Allow me to return to my mound, that in the fall I may rise once more and bring down the glorious crops that will grow here and feed these people for another year. And we shall renew again the year after, and so on.
Seems pretty reasonable.
Does that renewal require a human sacrifice?
No, I have no need of such thing. He points to the milk. That is all I require. You do not even have to bring it to me. I like to walk among you. And where I find it, I take it. Leave it out for me. A little bit every night. That's plenty. An old man like me does not need much sustenance, just a little bit of sweetness.
You don't need to keep saying it. That's fine.
Do I need to wait for my turn before I go?
No, we're out of the initiative.
Okay. Venla is going to quickly swipe away the rune for fire and replace it with the one for water.
And as you do that, there is...
To put out the fire and also water the field if need be.
Sure.
And as you do that, the storm breaks again and rain starts pouring down, and you can feel it refreshing you and cleaning the soot and the dirt and the smoke that is off you, and just all of that starts to wash away as this downpour comes down and the earth at your feet turns into mud. And you can see the water rivulets just sort of gliding down between the furrows of the field, sinking down into the earth.
Venla is going to take a step towards the Barley King, and she's going to bow, and she's going to say, "Forgive me, I acted rashly. I did not mean to cause harm to one who has not caused harm. I hope the waters will suffice to undo the damage I've done."
You, among all of them, walk closest to the ancient powers. He gives a little look at Britta, and then back to you. You should know better, and you should educate. It does not do good to turn your back on the powers that have gotten you this far.
I agree. And I thought I had not been doing that. And clearly, I need to walk more carefully on my path.
He reaches behind him and offers his hand.
She'll take it.
He drops a handful of barley kernels in your hand. So life, not death.
Wise words. And she will pocket the barley corn.
He'll look to make sure no one's planning to backstab him. He'll look at Britta.
I drop the milk, okay? My guy.
He walks back over to his mound and goes like this and does something, and then a little brush of a little wind comes and moves the smoke. He's like, home sweet home. Always a wonderful sight to return to. And he'll slowly sink back into his hole, and the last thing to disappear will be the head of the scythe into the mound as the mound reforms and the plants sort of interlock around it. Eventually the storm stops and the rain becomes just a gentle little patter. The air feels fresh and crisp and clean, perhaps for the first time in a long time. You're standing in a field of mud. Yor says, "Is it gone?"
Yes, it only wanted to help. Made a bit of a mess of things, but it only seeks to renew the harvest for the village, not to harm anyone. And if you want to leave out some sweets for it now and then, I think it would greatly appreciate that.
So it wasn't the one who killed?
No, it was not.
I think we probably owe that to our friends over at Lock Spindler.
As you say that, that last word reverberates. Lock Spindler, Spindler, Spindler. And you almost feel like it turns into a cackle at the end. Beyond, you can see the lights of Lock Spindler Industries. The smokestacks billowing smoke into the leaden sky, and the lights burning deep into the night.
Normal stuff?
Mm-hmm. Totally fine.
You will return to the village, find yourself a place to get cleaned up, perhaps something to eat. As a couple of you are quite famished. Finding some food will help you sort of strengthen you and help you sort of appreciate what the earth has given you. As we near the ending of our story here, you don't know yet who has committed the murder, but perhaps someone at some point will solve that particular mystery. But I would like to know, what will each of you do in the next few days?
I think definitely that night, Vendela will go out to the water across from where the Lock Splendor factory is, and with a tinderbox this time. And she's going to take a piece of paper out, and she's going to draw the rune for harvest on it, and she's going to fold it up and light it on fire so that it's ashes, and then she's going to cup her hands and just blow it towards Lock Splendor and say, "May you harvest everything you have reaped." Or, "May you reap everything you have planted." She's going to go back to the tavern. That's that night. And she's also going to write up a report. She takes very good notes of everything that happened. She is a bit frustrated in herself because she barreled on ahead when she should have trusted her instincts to try to have a conversation, and she will note that in the report because she's trying to be better, and how, while the murder hasn't been resolved, it seems that the town is not in danger.
You
Also
will
notes on Thorstein.
find waiting for you at the inn when you return a note from August, and it's an envelope addressed to you in When you open it, you find a card.
Oh. Is there anything else on it, or is it just that?
Just that.
Fun. She's gonna pocket that to address after this trip.
And what about the rest of you?
I think Britta will, satisfied knowing that at least this town is not in active danger, will probably try to sneak away over the next couple of days and go back to that rock. Or not the rock itself, but she's gonna find that
Just gonna go climb that rock, right?
that pesky guy. Yeah.
He's there.
And she'll take the locket with her. Right. Kitten's got it in his mouth. And she'll get there and just wait expectantly.
And eventually he will appear, crawling out from his little briar patch. Well, I wasn't expecting you. How are you then?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
We don't need to
look
do-
at that beautiful little kitten.
We don't need to do small talk, and you don't need to touch Kitten. What do you know about me?
Well, I don't know. A little, a lot. It's really a matter of perspective.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this though. Whatever I may know or not know is irrelevant, because I will not tell you any of it. There are certain things that are better found than to have given. You have what you need. If you desire answers, which you may not, if you desire answers, you know where to go look. If you do not, because perhaps answers don't matter, perhaps it doesn't matter where you come from. The only thing that matters is where you are and where you're going. And if that's the case, then who needs answers?
Fine.
I know I'm very helpful.
Well, a real pleasure. And she'll curtsy. Yeah.
Now where did that damn sheep go?
Oh, God.
And then you spend the rest of your life making cabinets.
That's right.
Exactly.
100%. Yeah, no, no, Britta will also, she storms off that island and storms straight into Carla's arms. Thank you very much, and have
Yes,
a
she
lovely
does.
evening.
Fade to black.
Fade to black.
Rudolph, Father Victor.
I think what Rudolph does depends a lot on what Father Victor is doing.
Uh-huh.
I was thinking the same thing, because Father Victor doesn't so much have a place to return. So I think that first night he would just ask Rudolph if he could stay at the cabin.
That's fine, yeah. Rudolph would say that that's totally fine. And I think, in the middle of the night, maybe before either one has actually fallen asleep, he would say, "So, where are you going?"
I don't know. I don't know if there's a place for me here. I don't know if it's safe to stay here, given that that woman can track me because she has my blood. But I also don't know that I want to leave.
Buildings can be rebuilt.
They can, but I'm not certain I can be the priest that they deserve.
You don't have to be a priest. Not if you don't want to be.
What would I do if not this, Rudolph? This is what I've been building for my entire life.
Suppose you'd have to do what the rest of us do. You'd have to live.
What has just living been like for you?
It's hard. It's lonely. It's cold. But it's mine.
And Victor starts to reach up as though he is going to take off the clerical collar. And then pauses and steps over to Rudolph and says, well, if it is that lonely and cold, I would like your help in taking this first step so that I do not have to take it alone.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Rudolph will reach up. There'll be very tense eye contact, but Rudolph will reach up and take the collar off of Victor's neck.
And Victor breathes a sigh of relief, as though that has been a weight holding him down. And then looks at Rudolph and says, what comes next?
Rudolph will set the collar down on the table next to the lantern and then lean over and blow out the flame and say, next, we get some rest.
In the world, there are things not dreamed of in our philosophies, but the things that always end up surprising you the most are human beings. And with that, we will end this harvest. Vaesen, Jera, thank you so much. I would applaud you very loudly if I could. You are all absolutely amazing. It was quite a thrill. I'm still kind of like, that little kind of feeling from it. Is everybody okay? Everyone good?
Yes.
So good.
Surprisingly wholesome harvest.
I know.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Mad about the corporations, right? Still mad about the
Yeah.
corporations.
Yeah,
I
it's
still
still
need to
there.
deal with that.
I tried to curse it. I tried to curse them. Maybe they'll leave the town.
Yeah.
To
No, I-
Vaesen, to Jera.
Absolutely. Yes. Words fail, so I'm not going to even try. But thank you so much. It was such a pleasure and an honor to have you play this game with me. You were absolutely fantastic, each and every one of you. And I would do this again anytime. Please, let's take a moment here. We will get to the giveaway here in a second, but I would like you to take this moment to tell everyone a little bit about yourself, who you are, where they can find you and see more of your phenomenal work. And just because I like to mess things up, I'm going to start with KT. Hey, KT, how you doing?
Excellent. I love messing things up as the way to end this campaign. What a lovely time we have all had. And I especially have been so grateful to be a part of this incredibly cool project, and with such a wonderful, beautiful, wholesome cast. Everything really, truly was fine. You can find me not this Friday, but next Friday, and then every other Friday after that for the rest of Infinity over at Live from the Apocalypse doing Night Kingdom Come. You can also hang out with me on Twitter at pager2266. That is my real pager number for where I work. And
Why do you keep telling people?
It's fun. It's good. It's funny. It's a bit. Other than that, you can also find me just like lurking around in a lot of different discords. Or cat decks. So this, maybe we'll hang out sometime. I don't know. Whatever. It's up to you.
And commissions are open for that wonderful art that you did, right?
Right. Commissions are open.
That's right. The character art was by our very own KT. Thank you so much for providing that art, and thank you so much for playing yourself. You were an absolute joy to play with, and I look forward to doing so again.
Yeah. The return of Kitten.
That's right. Mukbang Part 2. Mukbanger. And hey, you got the girl in the end. That's right. Next, let's go to Will. Will, how you doing?
Hi, I'm great. Hello, my name is Will. I'm one of the storytellers and the organizers over at Live from the Apocalypse. We are a not-for-profit TTRPG studio. We make actual play content to raise money for nonprofits and aid organizations. We have podcasts and streams and all kinds of good stuff like that. We only have one other game this week, which is a season of Secrets and Shadows this Friday. It's a Regency Monster Arts game that JD runs, and I'm playing in that this week, and it'll be a lot of fun. You can catch me Saturday over with Girls Run These Worlds playing School of the Stars, which is the Kids on Brooms game that only has, I think, 2 episodes left. It's a lot of fun. I'm at a Will M Scream on all social media platforms. Go like my pinned tweet. If it gets 69 likes, JD is going to get the Latin phrase for "it's fine" tattooed somewhere on his body. On that, I'm going to go right now, actually, as we speak.
Thank you so much, Will. I know you're very busy, and it was a pleasure. We connected last December, which I hope, if you're doing that thing again next Christmas, that we can hook up again. But we've been wanting to do this for a while, so I'm glad that we finally were able to do this, and you're an absolute pleasure to work with. So thank you very much for bringing Rudolph to our shores here. Although,
absolutely,
yeah, totally. And then the priest, or ex-priest, the man whose collar was just a little too tight.
Just a little too tight.
JD, how you doing?
I am great. This was absolutely a delight. Bleak, thank you so much for having me. I would love to come back sometime to reprise this role if that is ever in the cards. I think, to Vaesen, to Harvest, however we decide to call it, whatever we decide to call it, totally something we should do in the future. Bring back all of these characters. So yes, I was now no longer Father Victor. I was Victor tonight. You, as Will said, can find me on Friday over with Live from the Apocalypse to be GMing a season of Secrets and Shadows. I also play in Class Reunion and Academy H. And you may find me on RPGs Uncovered this Saturday for the start of our demo play of Locus, though that may be pushed back an additional week. We shall see. I have a lot of other things in the works, but again, following me online is the best way to find out what I am doing, because the list is long, but I will always make time for more Vaesen because this was a delight. And the last thing I will say is, yes, please like that tattoo, because I am on board and I am willing to allow Will and the internet to dictate the tattoos that are subsequently going on my body.
Will Will be drawing it? How many likes for Will to draw it?
Maybe we'll commission Katie.
I was about to say that.
Nice.
All I'm
It
saying is
wouldn't
that,
be my first.
yeah, that's true. All I'm saying is that Bonham Est fits as Noctats. That's all I'm saying.
I think not a bad idea. I don't know. Like,
You know, and
Yeah.
if it's a bad idea, a couple drinks later, it's not anymore. So, you know.
Exactly. It's fine.
It's all
It's fine. Literally, it says it's fine.
Stephanie's okay with this, right? Right?
I mean, his body, his choice. So
There you go. Good answer. Thank you so much, JD. It was an absolute pleasure to have you. When I think about the fact that you were willing to just throw yourself away in a one shot, and I was like, "What are you doing? You're not getting a one shot. What is that? A one? No. Let's make a whole game.
Sometimes I
Let's make a
do
whole
that.
game.
Sometimes I do that.
We make whole
But
games
I am
here.
glad that I got to be in a full story, and this was delightful with you as the GM and the amazing cast.
Thank you so much. I super appreciate you. And finally, the Doctor Who of my Vaesen world, apparently, the linchpin, the connective tissue of all my stories, Stephanie, playing Vendela. How you doing?
doing good. Oh my gosh, that was so sweet. Thank you for having me back again. Your Vaesen world is such a fun the world you use with Vaesen. It's so fun to play in, and I love playing this game. And I'm so glad Vendela lives to hopefully have another mystery based on that card. So this has been great. This was a great game. I had a lot of fun with it, and it's late.
Yeah.
You can find me at Lavenza on the Discords at Live from the Apocalypse or Guild Superior, and at Esperon Writes on Twitter. You can also find me on Friday in the Regency-inspired Monster Hearts game JD is running, where there will be so many ramifications. Then I will also be in JD's psychological horror game that's coming up called Redacted. Just what's going on in this nice little sleepy island coastal town? Who knows? We'll find
It's
out.
fine.
It's fine.
It's
It's not
fine.
haunted. There's no cults. It's fine.
Sounds fine.
all
I don't know.
Thanks so much again for being part of this again, Stephanie. It's always a pleasure. And let's see what happens to Vendela next. You're right. It is late, so I will make this quick. We will do the drawing. Last chance to get into the drawing! ! Drawing to get a digital copy of the Vaesen core rulebook, this game that we've been playing here tonight. Thanks to our wonderful donors at my voice is going at Free League Publishing. We are raising money all this week and next week for the No Kid Hungry charity. So please come by, check out our games. We got tons of cool stuff tomorrow. We got Shade Song going on and all our other regular games, Greyhawk next week. But we also have a special game, Lord of the Rings 5e, which is the new Free League Publishing game that just came out yesterday. We're going to do a double shot Saturday. My voice is going. So keep your eyes peeled for that. We're going to double shot that Saturday back-to-back games. Do check out our donation page. If you feel so inclined and you have the means, please consider donating to a wonderful cause, feeding children. And we've already gone up quite a bit during this particular stream. So thank you for your generosity. It's super appreciated. I do also want to thank DM Dave, for running. Sorry, my voice is really going now. For helping me with the production here and taking care of all the shout outs and handling all the donation stuff that came in. Thank you to everyone who donated. We will do the drawing right now and then raid into a friend of ours. We're going to go see Phoenix Iwaki, part of the donation team also. So without further ado, let us see who's going to win this particular book. As soon as I find Nightbot. Nightbot is here. All right, here we go. Stream Elements always wins. Always wins. It's fixed. The fix is in. Lee Hawk, do you have this? Did you win last year? I kind of feel like, did you win last year was that you when we did the, Dave would know, when we did the Christmas special? Well, I'll tell you what, I'll roll it again and double check, and if you don't have it, I'll get you a copy also. Anyways, but I'll roll again right now in case. And I'm pretty sure it was that, but do double check and do get back to me, and I will get you a copy if you don't. And I'll just roll it again just in case. But I will definitely get you a copy. So double check and let me know. And so, 491 Phantom. 491 Phantom, are you here? Are you in the house? All right, there you go. All right, 491 Phantom. I will reach out to you, get your email address so that this can be sent to you. Lee, please double check if you have it. If you don't, let me know. I will absolutely get you a copy also sent out to you. No problems whatsoever. All right, well, that's it for us. My voice is gone, and so I'm gone also. Yes, that's you, 491 Phantom. I'll be in touch to get your contact information. We are going to raid our good friend Phoenix Iwaki. Please stick around. Give him some. I'm going to try to spell his name. Yeah, I thought that you had won last year when we did the Christmas special. So, cool. All right. Everyone's happy. All right, we're going to have Phoenix Iwaki. Give Phoenix some love for us with the raid emotes when we get in there. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate each and every one of you. My cast, absolutely amazing. Dave, thank you. Love everybody here. And we will raid now, and we'll catch you later. Ciao.